can make your own experiment to show the difference between intentional to unintentional.
Edgar,
But
you don't
as
even
long
know what
as
statistical
long as you
significance is. Like, how are you
as
even
long as
doing?
you
How are you even sciencing without knowing what the fuck statistical significance is? I'm so
How are you
confused
even
about.
sciencing?
Do you even
we,
science,
we,
bro?
Do science, bro? Bro?
we need to you see what my challenge to the people who said that I'm
Just
wrong.
answer the
It's very
question,
simple. It's
buddy.
very simple.
Just
How are
answer
you
the
even
question.
sciencing?
You don't know what statistical significance is. How are you doing
You see,
science without knowing
what
that?
my challenge to the people who
Oh,
said that
my
I'm
Just
wrong.
answer.
Important. For example, let's go to biology. Remember
No,
this?
let's answer the question.
No, it's important.
No, let's
No,
answer the
Nick, you gotta
question
answer the
directly.
question, Mike.
Look, how are you doing science without knowing what a p-value is, what statistical significance is? The key values are used in damn near every science, at least the physical sciences.
And
Not,
don't
I mean,
know about
some soft science.
Michael, my expertise is intelligence or intentional.
you
I
have no
want to
expertise.
know how you are fucking predicting for
That's why
anything without knowing what.
all other minimal topics to me. I don't normally put into my head because there are too much thing to see in the whole in reality. If you are going to use
Okay.
the right
Then
categorization.
just say I don't know what statistical significance is.
Yeah. I mean, after
You
like
you
how
you
long
are
has
you
it
are
been?
changing the
Like 2
topic.
hours we've been
The
here?
topic is that we
No,
must
do
the
you
topic
or
here
do you not know what statistical significance is?
what
It's a yes or no question, Edgar, buddy.
I cannot apply that. I cannot apply that. I don't know. I do experiment. So
Okay,
once I can experiment.
okay, Edgar. He's asking
I
you.
want to kill myself.
He's asking you. Do you know how to properly do an experiment in science using what's called statistical significance, which you have to do with your p-values and what's called your significant alpha, and you have what's called a null hypothesis. Have you heard that term before?
That is wrong. I don't know that. I
It's
don't follow
wrong.
that because it's wrong.
It's wrong. Okay,
No,
guys,
he doesn't
sorry. All
follow
of
it
We have,
science
because
is
it's wrong
wrong.
in
We've been
that
doing it
practice.
wrong all these years.
we've been
Sorry.
using that.
Sorry, all of science is wrong. God, you know what? We should have
You don't need
recognized
to know
this early, man.
hypothesis. You don't need to know how to do statistical analysis because it's wrong.
It's just
yeah.
wrong.
So
Screw
I
p-values.
think
Wait, if our science study are right, they have already discovered what I am trying to say to you right now, guys. Because
No.
if
No.
they know, so do you know how to categorize a particle if it's designed or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right? If particles are intentionally designed or non-intentional design. What should I
Well,
do?
even just by looking at it, they seem to act like they're not. Again, they follow what
How do you know? How do you know?
unnatural.
How do you know? How
Yes,
can I calculate that?
you put them all in the not created category until it can be demonstrated that they're created, buddy.
yeah, yeah.
I'm okay with
So,
that, actually.
In other words, you don't know, right? So in
yeah.
other words, you don't know.
Well,
No,
even if I don't, I'm going to say you don't either.
No.
unless you
There
can
is a
demonstrate it.
Yeah. By the
Yeah,
way,
no, and it
demonstrated
hasn't been
here.
demonstrated. All they've been demonstrating is that these particles follow natural laws, which you say is unintelligent. So, by your definition, particles are unintelligent.
And by the way, do you know how, hey,
I didn't say that.
Edgar,
I didn't
do you
say
know
that.
do you know how much
Yes, you
certificate?
did.
Do you know what sigma you need to be to discover a new particle? Do you know what a sigma is in like a normal distribution?
Even better. Do you know what sigma
I
is?
don't discover particles, but
Okay.
I
Well,
can differentiate
it's six,
particle.
by the way. But I mean, I think the point they're trying to tell, if you don't know what a probability distribution is, you're not doing science.
I'm
He
doing
doesn't even know what he's
science.
discovered.
Yeah, you don't even know what you discovered if you don't know what a probability density is. You don't know what I, I don't even know where to go. But anyways, Landon, you wanted to say something real quick?
Yeah, there was a fun thing that came up, in the ramblings that are Mr. Intelligent Design. He was talking about programming and cows and chickens, and he used this thing about saying, well, the probability of a cow writing a program he said was 0. And I was coming up with a programming language that you could use cows, right? That cows could program in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking, and I'm thinking sort of, and actually it's a little bit of a philosophical. Could cows program, right? You could train cows to do things, and maybe you could get cows to write, rudimentary programs.
Wait a second. Are you trying to get fucking Skynet kicked off with cows?
People will never suspect it. Never suspect the cows.
God,
Well,
that's brilliant.
We can't call it Skynet, can we? We can call it Cownet.
Maybe not just one cow, but a herd of cows.
But the way I look at it, Landon, the way I look at it, 0% probability is not impossible. Okay, there's a difference to me between impossible and a 0%. You can have something that has a 0% probability that doesn't fall under impossible.
Yes, like for example,
we need to remake the entire Terminator movie, but Terminator is a cow.
Yeah, it's like
wait. If you put horns on a cow, does it become an impossible?
My God, what have I done?
Yeah, Landon and I try to talk math, and you guys are making sillies.
I ruin everything.
Sorry, Steve. It's because I'm here. Gators are jovial, dude.
And physics deals with spherical cows, so that's.
But Landon, what happens if you have an infinite probability distribution and you want to like throw a dart at it and hit a real number? What's the odds of that? Isn't it like 0? You're more likely to hit a transcendental number or a rational number.
Of picking a real number at random from the entire real number line is 0.
Is 0, but it's not impossible.
That's correct, because you will pick a number, right? It's just the probability. A particular number.
That's hard to wrap your head around for a lot of people.
So all those infinity things, it's kind of a fun concept. So spherical programmable cows. That's a
make it happen. You found the next big thing.
I think I will.
Get to the farm.
I have I give my intern problems to do, and one of the problems I'm going to give them is how would you get a cow to program? Right, and come up with a programming language, and we'll call it cow, right? And see,
Cow.net.
You probably have a lot of bull,
You can call it moo. Do you
If
write
it comes
do you
up
write
with
in
any
moo?
puns for programming.
Actually, Lando, I never said that cow can program. I never said that. You invented that. But I said that there are many people who are naturally born to program and non-program. So I differentiate to you natural to instinct.
Oh, you said that the probability of a cow programming was 0.
I didn't say that. I said that all animals
that was exactly me,
instinct.
Lennon. I'm the one who said the probability of a cow program.
I'm not even sure how all my years on YouTube, I don't think I would ever have guessed that one of these days I'd be talking about cows programming.
But
Fucking Cownet's gonna fucking end us all. Thanks, guys.
I'll give it to my interns and see what they can do to come up with an ability.
Red Eye. We've already got cybernetic animal-like things, right? Like those military things. All we got to do is shape one like a cow now.
And a
Fucking
dump.
Boston Dynamics, fucking thanks, Boston Dynamics. You are giving the fucking Skynet the physical ability to fuck us up. Thank you so much.
Dude, Red Eye, that's an inevitability. We're just, helping it along, okay?
Yes.
It is an inevitability. If it's not us, eventually an alien race will make
We're
fucking
doomed either way.
Turd.net. They'll make fucking net.
I just want to be put in one of those battery vats and have a nice virtual reality with a hot girlfriend and a successful life.
But dude, you're safe. You're on the other side of the planet. All you do have to do is hide underneath that flat surface from aliens. They'll never see you.
What are you saying he's safe for? Everything in Australia wants to kill you.
Yeah, but not from aliens.
Yeah, man, I told
Suggesting
them
that the
earlier that the
planet
only
has
reason
sides.
Australia has so many happy people is because they drag the unhappy and dumb people off into the outback.
Yeah, but Australians also throw rocks, right? That's what he was talking about. Red Eye was talking about a rock throwing experiment.
Yeah, pro rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain the whole thing again. I'm going to prove intelligence in the following way. I'm going to select a random rock, just a rock. It's going to be about the size of my fist. I'm going to line up 10 people that say, we'll give them a sporting chance to get out of the way, and we'll say 30 meters. And I'm going to throw the fucking rock at them. And I predict with my model of intelligence that these people are going to get the fuck out of the way of the rock. Unless, like, and this is the part of the experiment I'm going to have to do a couple of runs of it. I'm going to get a nice looking lady or a beefy man, depending on your sexual preference, to come and flash you right at the point of when I'm throwing the rock. And we'll see what happens if my diversionary tactic will let me bean a few idiots in the fucking head. I will still maintain that the intelligent people will ignore the titties and get the fuck out of the way of the rock.
What if they're coming home from the pub and they had a lot to
drunk people have got skills, man. They're like rubber. You can bean one and they won't even notice it.
If you're drunk,
I shit you not, there's footage in Australia of some dude randomly walking along the road and a fucking car tire comes off and just beans him in the back of the head, knocks him the fuck out. Welcome to Australia.
Wow. Oh, because it was on the tire and they the car and okay.
People get killed by deadly animals, and there's Vegemite sandwiches.
Yeah. Vegemite. I would rather Marmite. You at least have Marmite in Australia.
No, it's Vegemite.
Marmalade. What the fuck is Marmite?
It's like Vegemite.
When
they banned Vegemite, they decided to make a substitute, and they called it Marmite.
Well,
they didn't ban Vegemite. There was a big hoo-ha that they were going to ban the yeast extract thing, and when expat Aussies heard, they had a quiet word to the fucking American government, and that got kiboshed because I recently sent Landon a couple of jars of Vegemite, and I didn't get arrested.
Okay, if you guys have never tried Vegemite, I can tell you right now. Okay, take a piece of bread, put some water on it, dampen it pretty good. Leave it in the hot sun for about 4 months, and then eat it. That's about what it is.
But
that sounds delicious.
It's fucking disgusting.
How do you spread Vegemite? I've seen somebody try it.
It's like a paste.
Doesn't look spreadable.
Yeah, it spreads. Like.
Well, my friend's Vegemite looks like glue when you try to spread it.
It's easier than butter. I mean, it's in butter. And also, you can cook pretty good at soups too. And of
is
course,
it about as easy as what's that stuff that they wipe on people's hands in the bathroom stalls? That's chocolate.
Yeah, and if you have a lot of beer the night before, it's really good in the morning.
Steve,
no, it's not. It's not.
Steve, this guy that you're arguing with on Twitter is blowing my fucking mind, man.
He doesn't get it, does he? And,
no.
Wait! You want to know the kicker, Ocean? He claims that his area is linguist.
Yeah, I believe that. So
ask Aaron Ra about his Vegemite experience. It's on video somewhere on YouTube. He's like, he fucking made the classic mistake of smearing a little bit on it. Went, oh, that's not too bad. And then he layered it on like fucking peanut butter and bit into it. And you should see the look of horror on the man's face. It's like, I've never seen a man look so terrified and horrified and disgusted at the same fucking time. It was this beautiful mix of emotions and absolute regret. Absolute fucking regret. There was no hint of, maybe it was, it was just, I regret this. Please talk to him about it next time he's live on the show, because my God, I fucking laughed my ass off.
How was your Vegemite experience?
Red Eye, you clearly haven't seen me wake up in the morning.
Oh, dude, no, Aaron, his reaction to it was priceless, because he did it right the first time and just put a tiny bit on, and he got a little tiny taste, and he didn't like it, but he manned up for the camera and he went, I've got this. And it was like that's your biggest downfall. When you never smear the shit on thick, you're going to come to a fucking horrible end, I promise you.
So you eat this terrible shit and you have methods to make it not taste as terrible, but you know it's terrible.
Oh, no, I smear it on fucking half an inch thick, dude. I love the stuff. But if you're an American coming here and an Aussie goes, here, you have some Vegemite, put on nanoscopic amounts so it like slightly discolors the bread, and you won't be sick that way. You'll just go, oh God, why do their mothers do this to their fucking children? This should be a crime against humanity.
Hey man, all you're doing is you're making your children sturdy. They're nothing they can ever taste will kill them.
Yeah, and it's maybe it's the food equivalent of throwing rocks.
Steve, check out my most recent.
I won't say that.
Yes, I've given him a couple.
Steve, you should come join me on Facebook so I can make you suffer with me through this horrible shit.
It's
I
basically this
don't
guy.
know if anyone else here.
This guy is saying
Sorry,
that
go ahead.
he believes in expressed atheism as explicit lack of belief.
Yeah, he
But
doesn't
was
get it.
saying
I know.
earlier, he was saying earlier that it's only explicit if you're talking about it.
Yeah, I know.
So I
I see
asked
him.
him
I see
if
his
it's
equivocation problem.
So we
is
can't
it
talk
explicit?
about it anymore.
I
Huh?
asked him if it's explicit lack of belief when he's not talking, or if it's only when he's actually telling someone that he lacks a belief. But if he stops talking, he doesn't explicitly lack a belief anymore
It's just
because he's
an
not
implicit.
saying so.
Yes.
Like it's stupid. Like,
Yeah, and these guys are always like, oh, Steve's so wrong on this, wrong on that, and yet when they make this kind of equivocation bullshit, and I think that they're not doing it on purpose. I think he just doesn't get it. You have to go, what the fuck? You want to tell these people, just stop what you're fucking saying, go read a book, come back to me. It's just it's like Edgar and his whole probability. It's like just stop what you're saying, go read a book, and come back. It's like I'm done.
Or it's like that single letter idiot.
Steve, I have science.
It's like the single letter idiot.
I have science.
Wait, did
Steve,
that
I
just
have science.
I have science.
Edgar, I want you to know
I
that
just
I just
tagged you.
described you and your egg hypothesis thing to my friends, and they're all laughing at you.
I've got to mention
And
this.
they're
Edgar,
laughing that you fucking published a book.
no one picked up on this before, but Edgar totally said the way, and I just about jumped in and started going.
Not as practice.
By the way, you tagged him on that. More Ocean, you tagged the wrong person. You tagged him, not me, on that.
I figured it out. I figured out how to do it
the wrong
faster.
person.
Edgar knows the way, brothers.
Do you know the way?
That's
You
a
do not
dead
know the way. I spit on you.
Using coconut sounds better, maybe.
Join me, brother. We shall spit on him.
Landon does not know the way.
Yeah,
He knows the way to the South Pole.
and when I used to work in semiconductor manufacturing, we used coconuts for helping some of the processors because it turned out a coconut has the holes in the top, and you could put a processor and heat it up, and it would change which bugs you found. And so it ended up being that was one of the things that National Semiconductor that we used a lot was coconuts.
Dude, your mic quality changed so bad.
Ocean,
Sorry.
are you going to correct your tweet, or you want me to note it?
Steve, do you want to join me on Facebook and suffer
never
with me in this
thought to use a
atheist
coconut
thing?
such a thing.
No, thanks.
I
thanks.
just
Do
thought
you
that
not
you
like
would use
Facebook?
coconuts to measure intelligence when you're not in Australia.
The measure of intelligence in
they don't
Australia
have-
is someone that doesn't fucking, you're not intelligent if you don't regularly check your ground harness for making sure it's secure. If that ground harness goes, you are in fucking all sorts of trouble down here. You just fall straight into the sun. Fucking, it's horrible.
You guys need to see this Twitter warfare that's going on.
Ocean and I are formidable. We'll tweet.
You see,
we'll
this
tweet
is
you
the
into
funny
oblivion.
Like seriously, I'm asking this guy. He's saying that it's only explicit if it's been directly expressed rather than merely implied.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, does that mean it becomes implicit after you're done being explicit?
Wait, what did I do? What did I miss?
This guy doesn't understand the difference between
Twitter.
explicit and implicit when it comes to atheism. He doesn't get it. He doesn't know what negative and positive atheism is. So he thinks if he says, I don't have any God beliefs, I lack a belief in God, he thinks that's explicit atheism, which is not.
Right. Well,
Very
it
explicit.
seems like he's only
Which
saying
Twitter account is
explicit
this happening
atheism.
on?
What I'm interpreting as him saying is that it's only explicit atheism when someone is saying, I am an atheist. And that at all other times of existence, it's just implicit atheism.
I'd call it explicit if the chick got her tits out and went, I don't believe in God, look at my titties. But that's just me.
Well, I'd love to see how your mind works, Red. It's just a kitty fun land.
Red, I just want like a ride in his mind. Like I just want to sit down inside and just kind of watch things go by.
Yeah, get on the red experience. Yeah, we're just gonna call it the Red Eye Coaster. You can only come really late, and you can only be really drunk when you get on the coaster.
You want to know my secret, guys? It's about 2 decades of serious marijuana smoking and several good car accidents with head injuries.
How don't you believe in
God damn
fire?
it!
Yeah.
I even called that we were gonna have this fucking argument about our implicit and explicit. It's just like it's gonna be.
Triggered.
Triggered.
I fucking like called it. I was just like,
He did.
gonna have this conversation, and then he proceeds to fuck it up.
And my computer's starting so slow, I can't really get back to him.
Yeah.
Get a better computer.
So I wonder, Red Eye, when I was doing my experiment of standing at the South Pole and trying to jump off the world and fall off without a harness, was that intelligence?
No, that was Illuminati gravity fucking belt. We've heard about them. We've got no actual proof of one. We're going to get a prototype one day, and once we do, we're laughing in Australia. No more fucking ground harnesses.
Yeah. We don't have that.
See what I did there, Edgar? I made up some bullshit, but I just made people laugh.
Just like we do with Edgar. When he's serious, that's the difference.
I mean, I'm serious about my potato god. I don't know what y'all are joking about.
Yeah, he's
Space anus, dude. The great space anus is where it's at. It's even got a Facebook page. I shit you not. I created that one day. I was arguing with Theist and went, I can come up with a better mythology than fucking the Bible in 5 minutes. Give me a minute. And I went and wrote the Facebook page and went, there you go.
I'm gonna
Dude,
like that.
I'll just watch
My
Ocean's
potato
Twitter
god has a
war.
Facebook page too. I'm sorry, but yeah, get on my level.
So
It also has a MySpace, by the way. Sorry, go ahead.
So potato gods, are they like baked potatoes or
No.
Only
Yeah.
if they smoke weed.
James the Holy Potato, he's the root between and the afterlife of infinite energy. It is only through him that we can reach the perfect afterlife.
See now, according to the single letter man, because I don't understand or reject the potato god, I can't be an atheist. I think is that I
You're,
remember
you're
is-
agnostic on the potato god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Personally, I reject the potato god. I believe the potato god does not exist. Yes, I'm going to.
What? Steve!
I'm gonna bake forever in the great.
I have to reject things that
That's
they
okay,
never-
though. Steve, the good part about my potato
You keep breaking up.
stop existing.
Oh, well, what about yams? Let's
Yeah,
say
that's
potatoes.
what I worship, dude. I've got them growing in my fucking front yard.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
just-
believe
that's
in
just
your
right on.
potato.
No, as long as it's potato related, you're good.
Yeah, there could be a yam god.
You,
Great
you,
space
you worship him through two methods. Boil away into. You gotta have a garden where you grow these kinds of potatoes, and you've also got to make amazing dishes out of them. This is how you worship them. No prayers, just food.
All right, so potato related. Does that mean it's like potato kind? Like
Yeah, potato
Here.
kind, totally.
I have one serious question.
I go with this.
If it has
Get
potato,
into
Are you Irish? Because you are culturally appropriating the fuck out of something if you're not.
no, the Irish appropriated my shit. No, actually, no. The first prophet of James was Irish. Okay.
so
So
Yeah,
what's an Irish
yeah, but what
7-course
about-
meal?
What does that make McDonald's? Because they go through a lot of potatoes and they
Why
make
are you
French
running
fries.
over my joke? I
As
have a
long
joke.
as long as you, as the
I'm
Jameses,
not
pray
calling you
over the
fucking
sliced
Why do you
potatoes,
keep-
you're
why do you
good.
keep cutting off Ocean, man. Ocean's
Yeah, I
trying
don't
to
know
be
why this
funny.
happens.
I can't hear you, Ocean. You're so quiet and polite.
Because
Am I
Ocean.
quiet?
And then over here is Red. This is how Red gets our attention.
Yeah,
Oh,
all right,
gosh,
if-
I'm Australian.
That's true.
Dude, Shaggy, if I'm quiet, you need to check your mic, bro, because you're fucking clipping.
Yeah,
like
you're
crazy.
clipping hard,
Oh
Shaggy.
God, is that my fan? Is that any better?
No,
No,
you're clipping, but you're overdriving your mic.
You're clipping.
It's just your
mic
dumb
is-
sadness.
You need to. God damn it! People, stop talking over me.
What's up?
Your mic is set to the gain is super fucking high, so you're clipping all the time.
Hey, give me a minute. I could have sworn I had my mic Oh, that's for my computer. I need to optimize it for my phone. The voice and video.
So how do you use this Me6?
How do I edit the
You
gain
just-
of it on my phone?
It runs automatically.
No, I
So-
turned off. Does that help at all?
Helps a
Is
little
this
bit.
helping? Okay, because I turned off automatic gain. Fuck that.
Yeah.
So
So-
anything that's potato kind is part of your deity.
Yeah.
Does that mean that for example, what is it? It's elephants because they're the same. They're related.
No, it has
Elephants
to be.
and pine
It
trees.
has to
Are
be a direct. No, it has to be a direct descendant of the potatoes.
It is.
Well, Edgar's a direct descendant of a potato, I'm sure.
If you have the intelligence of a potato, I guess I worship
It's
you
in
now,
the same
Edgar.
clade.
But it is interesting. I wonder what are the direct descendants of a potato? And what-
Technically, we worship roots.
Oh,
According to
Does that include trees?
someone that likes auteurs, it would be a rock, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So if it's a root and you can eat it, we worship it. Let's put it that way.
well, my first grade science book says it's a rock.
I'm currently writing. That first prophet of James wrote the Bible of James, and I'm currently transcribing it from his fucking Gaelic speak.
I don't. Yeah, you guys are on about a bunch of crap. I just went and liked the Facebook page, The Great Space Anus. The story of it is like, it's very.
Is it like the
Legit.
Devil's Anus from that new Thor movie? The Devil's Anus, collapsed neutron star inside of an Einstein's bridge.
What?
What? I don't
I
understand
don't-
the science behind that. I'm just repeating it.
A collapsed neutron star inside of an Einstein bridge.
Is that a thing that can happen?
An Einstein
I'm just
bridge is
repeating
a
the
really
movie,
good-
man. If it's not realistic, blame Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna blame North Patrick. Okay, so a neutron star fell in a wormhole, and something happened. I haven't seen Thor
And
Ragnarok.
and it made a wormhole essentially,
No,
like a
the
super
wormhole is-
wormhole that
Yeah.
transported them across the fucking galaxy.
What? No, the Einstein bridge is the wormhole.
Yeah, but there's a collapsed neutron star in it, which supercharged it, I think,
That doesn't make
so
any
that
sense.
it increased the reach of the wormhole.
How? Whatever.
Either way, it was circular, and because there's apparently a collapsed star inside of it, it became visible somehow, and it had a red color to it, so they called it the Devil's
Look.
Anus.
It's perfect. It makes perfect sense. It increased the probability of distance traveled by 300%.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Jesus
Anyway,
Christ,
no.
Ocean. This guy has got to be the fucking dumbest person. Well, okay, sorry. I didn't realize Edgar was here. This guy's got to be the second dumbest person I've seen in quite some time.
Savage.
This guy that's on Twitter. You guys have no idea
Just so
what
you
you're
know,
missing. It
Edgar,
is,
you do have that.
I was talking.
You have that on.
I was
I
talking.
know. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
You guys are missing the most epic level fuckery I've seen in quite some time on Twitter right now.
Where is this at?
What channel? Where is
It's
Link
on
us.
Twitter.
Link us.
Ocean
Link
is,
us. Rocker
Ocean
link.
is dying.
He was like, "You're missing this thing on Twitter," and then someone
Where is
says,
it?
"Where?"
Twitter. Yeah, I have a
It's on
Twitter.
fucking
Yeah, but
Twitter.
link us.
What?
Whose Twitter account?
Mine.
Twitter account?
If Steve is talking about it, you would probably can find it. If Steve is talking about some epic level bullshit,
All right.
I bet you can bet your bottom dollar that Steve is interacting with that stupidity. So
Do
you
you
can probably find it by pressing Steve's Twitter and looking at the replies.
Look
Oh,
what
I
he
already
just
have.
wrote me. I'll put it in here. You guys
What
can
the
actually
fuck?
see it in the live chat. I think.
I've just read one of the. I'll read one out. I've got this is written by Steve McRae, the Great Debate
I
Community.
think
3 hours ago. How the fuck is saying it's okay to be white a hate crime? Jesus, this planet is going to shit exponentially faster every day.
I did say that. Yeah.
Take a look at my replies and see some of this guy's like bullshittery. Because I'm making fun of him at this point.
Did you read what he just wrote? He said, sorry, but I don't care to accept coined phrases that break language.
I'm responding to that currently, and I want you wait until I respond to that because I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm done. No, I'm done. He's just I can't take this guy seriously. He's all yours and Red Eye. Let Red Eye have a piece
I'm
of
looking
him.
on your page, but I can't see it.
And this is this Don guy.
Yeah. Holy shit, is he dumb?
Oh, here it is.
Last time I had words with someone on Twitter, I got put in the naughty bin for 12 hours because apparently calling someone a fucking complete fuckwit is not condoned by the Twitter. Having fucking seeing full-blown porn on Twitter, no problem. But to call someone a fuckwit, you get binned for 12 hours. It's like, okay, fair enough.
So why is that? By the way, Ocean, your facepalm thing that you did, why does it say translate from Lithuanian on my screen?
Because I'm awesome. Come on now.
Yeah, it says
Yo, by the way, did you know that Pornhub is going to release information on the most popular video game character searches on their website?
Awesome. What does that have to do with anything I just said?
Red
one of the random things.
And
Well,
came to mind.
Steve,
I have
no,
ADHD. Give me a break.
Okay, back to the Twitter thing, because that's actually of interest. So this guy doesn't understand explicit versus implicit, and it's so fucking hilarious because he's doing what's called an equivocation error, and he's not seeing it, even though I've explained it to him. Ocean's explained it to him. Red Eye's probably about to.
I think there are many members in a debate community that has no science, no model to compete with the evolution and our current science today. So I think the person that Steve had mentioned about the Twitter,
I just responded.
I think they are not real scientists like me, who has no gut.
We've gotten bored with you for the time being. So Steve, I've responded to him saying that working with you as an actor must be a fucking trial. Trying to explain to you suggested use of language or slang must be a labor that would cause me to lose fucking mind.
I think Ocean. The reason why it's very hard for me to understand because
Dude,
my
I told
topic
you
is
we're bored with you.
intelligence.
Stop it. Be quiet for a second.
Damn, Ocean fucking pulling his pants up like fuck.
It's like, dude, you tell a guy once that you're bored with him, and then he keeps talking. Shit.
Sounds like something I would do, honestly.
Ocean is like an angry mom.
I wish I could stream share.
There's a point where I just lose my patience. It's like,
I think you love science, right, guys? You love real science.
Get
right?
out of my house. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, if you really like science, but why did you?
We're talking about something else over here. If I'm happy to have people that want to argue with Mr. Intelligent Design. If you want to, go down to the GDC arena.
Yeah, Mr. Intelligent Design. We get it. You don't get it. Oh, it's dumb.
Just he can talk about his thing all he wants to. If anybody wants to listen to him, then can go there and listen to him and argue with him.
Wait, did you move him or did you go?
I moved him.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, he can move back. He's got the permissions to move back, but I'm not having him do his shit in here now. I'm just bored with it, man.
Yeah, I was bored with it an hour
I'm not
ago.
kicking him out of the server, but I just want to move him to another spot for a second.
Now you two know our
And he
pain.
doesn't. I guess the concept of hyperbole is lost on him too. Is he? He must have ADD or something. Because I've noticed people with ADD tend, or on the spectrum, tend not to understand things like hyperbole.
What is hyperbole again? I don't remember this word.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, excuse you. Come on.
I genuinely
Make me look it up.
try to figure out
Hyperbole.
how
Hyperbole is when you say something like over the top, right? It's hyperbolic rather for expression of emphasis rather than for actual anything serious. Like give me an example. It felt like a million bees stinging me or something. I don't know. Obviously you never.
I see what you mean. Exaggeration, basically.
Yeah, hyperbole might be 300% probability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That's how I'm explaining it to my kids. And you know how my kids are going to respond? But Daddy, you can't go over 100% probability. I don't know why my kids are British, but they are.
And if we listen carefully, kids, we can hear the rage flowing from Steve McRae's fingertips into his keyboard.
Can you hear that? Yeah.
Twitter.
The rage.
That's because Steve never mutes his mic unless he mutes his mic.
Yeah.
I can always hear you breathing on the non sequitur.
No, you don't. I always hard mute.
No, you don't. I hear.
No, you don't. I've been
No,
hard
I
muting
swear
for the
to
last
God,
3,
I
4
heard
times.
No, I hear you every time you breathe. I don't know if you're muting in the Discord or muting your actual mic, but I can still hear it.
No, the last couple streams I've been hard muting every time.
I swear, I hear you. I hear someone breathing on the non sequitur show every time, and I'm
That's me.
I'm always sure it's you.
That's
It's
me,
definitely
dude.
Kyle.
That was me.
Yeah.
See, Red Eye is secretly the boogeyman. Of course, the boogeyman is Australian.
Who would have thunk it, right?
I just stalk people. Everyone has to have a hobby. Fair go.
People who throw rocks
But-
live
On airplanes, some people Australian stuff.
Do you hide under beds?
Nah, that's old
I
school.
don't even understand this guy's last reply. Actually, I
Do
learned
you
that
crawl
I'm
on the roof?
and I'm quite adept at adapting them as necessary. When someone else gets there was wrong or decides to improvise, but assume what you wish to assume. Facts remain the same. Like,
My
wow.
favourite part about the discussion with Edgar today was me actually trying to say at the start, but listen, I'm only critiquing your intelligent design, not you as a person. You're probably a lovely gentleman, Edgar, and just keep that in mind. And even I don't care if you attack me. It's just like, oh, for fuck's sake.
So when he uses 2/3 all capital letters, Steve, is he's trying to make a point?
Is he PMing you?
Who?
What? Tell us what he's sending you. I'm interested.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I just want to say this too. I've seen
I just
landed
looked
in
him up.
many
He's got,
hangouts.
as an actor, he's got 4 credits. The most recent being 2011.
Well, he's got skills to pay the bills then.
What movie was he in? And what was his role? Was he like background? Was it like Walking Dead? He got murdered. I was one of the walkers in Walking Dead. Oh yeah? Were you one of the ones that got killed at least? Nah, I was a background walker.
Dude, I know so many fucking walkers from Walking Dead. I was on Walking Dead, but I did the fucking lighting, so I got paid.
Are you
I know-
serious?
I
I've
noticed
got
that.
one question. Sorry, I just got one question for the guys at the Walking Dead. Please select better sets next time where the lawns aren't perfectly manicured, because who the fuck's mowing all the lawns during the zombie apocalypse?
You know, there's at least one crazy gardener out there that's still mowing the lawn just to feel normal.
Yeah,
He's like,
all
I am
the-
legend style.
All the undead Mexican lawn care guys just still do what they were doing, because that's what zombies do.
instinct.
Yeah, man, it's part of their nature at this point.
So in looking at this guy's Twitter thing, he says good fiction should entertain people, not fool people. I would say, well, what about Penn and Teller?
I mean, I was gonna quote the Bible as being an example of what fools people, but that's not good fiction.
I mean,
Well,
Penn and
I
Teller
mean,
say,
I
you
don't.
know,
I don't know that I would say that magic is a fiction so much as it is a performance art of a sort.
oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, I did magic for years. I'm working on a book on it's going to be called once I'm finished writing the goddamn thing, Through the Conjurer's Lens, and it's an analysis of basically different magicians who are non-believers and what impact understanding how easy it is to fool people and how things can be manipulated had on their skepticism of other things in the world.
True, but this guy also says pretending is about pretense.
What?
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 Well, so yeah, it just magic falls into a weird category. It's like if you look at a painting as a piece of art, right? A painting is still a painting absent an observer. Whereas like magic without an audience could
Practice.
be like experience. Like even doing magic for somebody who understands the trick, if they it's not it becomes something else. So mystery is sort of the required component for it to be what it is, not so much story.
My answer was better. Magic without an audience is practice.
Yo, Steve, real quick,
it's
was
true.
Mr.
Or
Intelligent
pantomime.
just here?
What?
Pantomime, I would say.
No.
Was Mr. Intelligent Design just here?
Yeah. No, he was talking. We kind of shut him up because we get tired of him.
Moved him.
Why?
Yeah, I think Ocean moved him.
No, he's still in here.
Oh.
No,
Where?
not.
Oh wait, no. Did Ocean need to move him?
I
Ocean.
moved him to the arena.
Where'd you move
Instead
him
of
to?
I like that we all pick on.
If
I
anybody
think
wants
he's
to
not-
No, he
Yeah.
went to, he's in Krillism right now, and he said he just came from here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah,
You
he
can
was
have
in
him
here
on Krillism.
spouting his bullshit.
how's he doing over there, Tom?
I don't know, he just got there.
Oh, there you go. Enjoy.
Have fun.
He's all
We
yours.
started talking about something
Dude,
else.
dude,
Ask him to explain to you probability. It's great.
It's he's Tom.
Lots of educational material there.
No, don't ask him that. Please don't.
So I just responded to him, Steve. Your IMDb says that you're known for Division III, football's finest from 2011. Do you do commercials or theater or something? We all work our stinkers, but I don't know what we're looking at here.
Ooh. Ouch. Wow. Ocean's going hard.
you went for the low blow. What the fuck?
Yeah, so much for just the tip.
Yeah,
You went in balls deep, bone dry, man.
He won't be walking right for a week.
Yeah, this is the guy that's trying to explain to us.
Hold on a
philosophy.
second, dude. On his IMDb, it has his birth name, which is Donald Arthur Neerman. His nicknames are Techno Zeus, Tron, TZ, Kronos, Nimbus, Dawn, Fuzzy, King Donald, Zeus,
Fuzzy?
Techie Zeus. I think it's got Zeus on there twice. Techie Zeus, Future Man, Professor, Teacher, King Arthur, The King, DKZ, CSN, DAK, Art, Slick, Curris, Dude, Gift, Techno, Techie, Talent, Sirius, Bertro, Present Donald, and King Don.
Yeah, do you know that when I looked him up too, by the way, before. And look
What
at
if his nicknames is Donald and his name is Donald?
That's,
Wait, if
I don't see the problem.
Yo, Ocean.
Okay,
who
wait.
named Donald
He has four.
says their nickname is Donald? Like my name is Donald, but my friends call
Ocean.
me Donald.
He has four acting credits listed, and each one of them was unaccredited. That's how much influence
It
he
doesn't,
has.
doesn't matter if you're
Yo,
credited on
Ocean.
IMDb. You can have like some solid fucking credits if with stuff that isn't accredited.
Yeah, but he has nothing
Oh
accredited.
no, he's uncredited. Oh my God, no, he's not even in the fucking. Oh,
That's what I said. Looked at it, and you look at the cast. He's not even in there. It's all uncredited. All four of them.
It says he's known for Division III. I just looked at the part that he played. He's known for Division III, and he plays the role of Background 13.
He's known in his small circle of friends as that.
We're Ocean. If you're the Ocean, you need to hit him with a tsunami.
Yeah, my name's Steve, but I have a nickname. You just call me Steve.
Steve.
You should ask him if he's ever acted smart.
But
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with him because he's just
no,
he's fucking hilarious.
I'm trying to make sense. I'm trying to make sense of his phrase. He's telling me, he says acting is about action, pretending is about pretense. I'm an actor, not a pretender.
Deep.
What do you think acting is? You're acting like you're something.
It's just kind of like pretending, especially when you have a green screen or a green bodysuit piece on your arm, and then someone like CGI's a fucking robot arm there. You're pretending like you have a robot arm. Duh.
You're a glorified liar. Camera pointed in your direction. Honestly, that's all theater is. That's all fucking acting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, acting is more trying to embody a role and make it convincing to the audience, not
Oh,
not
this isn't-
about
This
action.
isn't lying
That's
like in
a
the bad way.
category of film. Yeah, the action movies.
Yeah, but like, in the end, all of our movies, even like movies based on real events, like fucking Jarhead, fucking even those are just glorified lies. This is
Oh my God,
they're
Ocean.
generally dramatizations.
Ocean, did you read this? Let me send you this.
He's talking about special pleading now.
No, read what Marina just wrote. My atheist husband told me to tell you guys there's no such thing as atheism because you cannot believe in something that doesn't exist. Okay, she's that's just so fucking wrong.
I'm gonna like that right now.
I like her. Don't get me wrong. Marina's cool.
I think
She's
that's
cool
the, I think that's the best fucking thing in the world.
but it's so
Is she
wrong.
serious or not?
No, I think she probably is. Yeah, she's nice. She's
Oh,
nice.
see, I thought she was trolling.
No,
My atheist husband said there's no
I don't know.
atheists.
That's the problem. Do
think
you
it
know
was
is he trolling or not?
And it seems like an equivocation on the word believe as well.
It seems like a number of occasions.
If God's not real, who wrote the Bible?
I think that he may
Oh my
stop
God.
responding right now because I asked him his breakout. If like, let's see, let me show you the most recent.
By the way, Steve,
Is this Donald Kronos star actor as Donald Kronos? Because holy fucking shit, this guy looks like a cheap version of Ash from the Grateful Dead, the Evil Dead.
If you go to his IMDb, you can see the big giant full beard that he has right now. He also has a YouTube channel where he's talking about how dumb flat earthers are.
by the way,
Apparently, you're live streaming the conversation now, Steve.
I've been live streaming for about 40 minutes.
Wait, what?
Oh, shit.
Cool.
20.
A good thing I didn't go into my Seder biology.
Hey, if you're in this room, it can go live anytime.
Here,
Jeez.
there's the tweet that I posted to him. If you want to read that.
Sometimes it's
Hi
nice
guys,
to get it.
I'm Max
He's
Sane.
saying, actually, I learned my lines really well. All right, this is your breakout role background 13.
Oh yeah, you're hardcore, dude.
But yeah, Steve.
Guys.
By the way, when you were when you made that joke, crap, I forgot what the joke was. Wait, when you played that video and she said, if God doesn't exist, who wrote the Bible? Your laugh, it sounded so fake for some reason.
Oh, it was fake. It was supposed
Oh, it was
to be
fake?
fake. Yeah.
Guys, I think we all need to keep in mind atheists don't hate leprechauns or unicorns because they don't exist. You can't hate something that doesn't exist.
I like
Atheists
I
unicorns.
hate the
hate
governor
God
from
because he
Walking
does
Dead.
exist.
I like unicorns, but hang on, real quick. The problem we had with that Seder is that they couldn't hear the video as I played it, and poor Iowan, he doesn't know the video, so we were fucking with him because I turn off their mics and I'm like telling him, hey, what do you think of the video? It's like, I don't see the video. And Kayla's like, well, we'll ask him about the video when we're done. And I'm like, but you can't see the video. And he's like, okay, just everybody laugh after it's done. So we're like,
I get it.
That's nice. I like that. You should do that more.
yeah, we do those. We'll do
You
those every
guys
so
are-
often. We're actually on target to get 10,000 subs in the next 3 months. That's awesome.
Was that for your non-sec?
That's really dope.
What's that?
Was that for your non-sequitur channel?
Yeah.
That's good, man. You guys should keep it up.
Oh,
Keep scheduling those, keep pounding away those great debates.
we're putting a
Yeah.
lot of work into it. We're getting this thing scheduled. We've got King Crocoduck tomorrow. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know
What's
who's going
Crockett
next?
going to be talking about? In particular, is it a debate or?
Yeah, discussion. Do you know who he's going against, Landon?
No,
Max Colby,
Max Colby.
aka Red Pill Religion, aka Dean Esme, aka Big Tal.
Wait, who's
MRA.
talking to him about that?
Wait, who? What?
Max
Who's talking
Colby.
about the religion?
Max Colby, Escaping Atheism, aka Escaping Atheism, will be having a discussion tomorrow with King Crocoduck.
Why is
What
that
can go
happening?
wrong? Oh, and you want to hear the kicker? Red Pill Religion doesn't know that I'm co-host on that particular channel, and he hates my guts.
Haha,
What
nice.
can go wrong?
Well, I'll tell you what can go wrong.
Why is Steven here?
Yeah, pretty much. Because I own
like when,
half this fucking channel. That's what I'm gonna tell him.
You can have King Crocoduck say, Steve's a great guy. Why wouldn't he be here?
It's like one of those situations where you really hate someone on the playground, and then you find out you have a class with.
Did you ever read his blog on me? He wrote a blog on me
No.
once. Oh yeah, I'm a bully. I'm a doxer. I'm a harasser. I harassed his kids. Um, the problem was I
How
didn't.
dare you?
Well, the problem that I found was funny is I didn't even know he had kids until I read the blog. And I'm like, I don't think you know who I am because he says I'm the worst atheist on the internet. I'm like, I don't think you've ever listened to me.
Yeah, Steve, none of those can be true because you don't even work for CNN.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Good point. Well, you can't be an atheist if you work for Fox. It seems.
Yeah, but you can't be an atheist if you work for Fox
I
News,
think,
and you can't be honest if you work for CNN.
but I think people like Max
Good
have
point.
one type, like archetype of atheist, right? And if you're an atheist, you automatically fall into that one archetype. Period. Right? That's the way I think he
What?
approaches it.
Oh, the other guy.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. If you're an atheist, you're automatically a bully. You're a doxer. You're a harasser.
What's his what religion does he follow?
He's
Yeah.
he's Catholic.
Oh.
But I
Well,
think
what the
he's a
fuck?
very I think he's a very extreme form of Catholic.
Dude, I know plenty of fantastic Catholics. In fact, I know a Catholic who's staunchly Catholic, the kind of turn around and apologize to his Mary Mother statue thing when he fucks up. And he helped me create the religion of Jameson.
Does he like whip himself too? What do
Does
they
he
call
what?
that?
Oh, by the way, he's not like I should be more specific. Not only is he bisexual, but he's had sex out of wedlock. So he's not the best of Catholics. I'd say that.
Yeah, that's pretty frowned upon.
Yeah, it's why I'm the only person who knows that, and why I didn't mention any of his screen
Well,
names.
now we all know it too.
Yeah, but you don't know who he is or how to
find
find him.
out. We can find out anything.
He's also not in my religion of Jamesism either.
We know
so.
all.
Yeah, I met a Catholic that was into that self-flagellation stuff. They're one of the BDSM.
One of those.
What is that?
Flagellation.
Flagellation.
Yeah, flagellation.
When you flagellate yourself with a cat of nine tails, you whip yourself.
Oh God, one of those people.
After a full bean dinner, I do a lot of flagellation.
Yeah, they get really pissed off when you call them BDSM.
Flatulence for God.
I wonder if he's one of those people that says every time he has to have sex, you have to procreate because every sperm is sacred.
Every drop.
I sure hope he didn't get that girl pregnant. I talked to her, and that would be kind of awkward, knowing that my friend got one of my other friends pregnant.
If abortion is murder, ejaculation is genocide.
Exactly. It's a constant genocide because every living thing on the earth that has a penis that can do that does that.
Every sperm is sacred. Every sperm is.
You know the other label that atheists get dropped all the time outside of bully and everything else is strident.
It's strident. I don't hear that often. Where do you
people
hear
like
that
Dawkins get that a lot. Oh, they're strident.
What?
Okay.
No, I don't hear that much.
You don't hear that much?
You know what? In that Facebook group, I jokingly tried to invite you to, Steve. There's at least for 3 days after Hawking's death, there's at least one post a day talking about how he's in hell and how he sees the truth now.
Yeah, well, I think all those people. I think half of them are posed. The other half are delusional.
Well, I'm all.
I know
what
care
to
about
look
religion,
for.
but when you start posting shit like that, you're automatically on my shit side, and you can fuck right off with your religious beliefs at that point.
I straight up said to somebody, he called me out for ad hominem, and I told him I don't give a shit if you're gonna insult the fucking dead.
They don't know when it happened. One of the most misused fucking fallacies is ad hominem.
Yeah.
Let me explain to people once and for all: an insult is not a goddamn fucking ad hominem fallacy. Jesus. If I say, hey, Sater, your argument is wrong because of this, 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 and this, and you're an idiot, I'm just saying he's wrong, he's an idiot, not because he's an idiot. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, but if you bring up like some random fault about
your argument
it
is wrong
nothing
because
to do
your
with my
face is
argument.
ugly.
Yeah, that's an ad hominem.
That's ad hominem.
I don't fucking like you, so I'm gonna go ahead and not believe you.
Yeah,
there's-
you're true on that.
but have you
I've
guys
I
got
mean, I kind of do that to poor fucking. I'm not even gonna say it. Just Edgar. I do that to Edgar. I don't give a shit.
have you guys noticed though that people that fuck up these fallacies seem to fuck up them all? It's not just one or two they get wrong. It's like that's a fallacy to popularity. No, it's not. Oh, that's a fallacy to appeal to authority. No, it's not. You guys have no idea what the
Dude.
fuck you guys are doing.
Stop
Dude, I got
making
called
it
out for ad
segment.
ignoratum, and I had never even mentioned ignorance in the argument. Not
Well,
once.
you don't have to mention ignorance for be argument from ignorance. Argument
Well,
ignorance, you say
point of it is,
no. Argument for ignorance is when you say I believe X is true because X has not been demonstrated to be proven false yet.
oh no.
That's
Well, I
the,
never
that's the
said
format
anything
for
like
argument
that,
for
and I know what
ignorance.
that is. I know what that is, but like that had never even come up in the conversation. You just
Oh
called
yeah,
me
they
out
throw
for
that
it.
shit all the time. Oh, well, I don't. I'll pick one at random. I'll just, you're wrong because of argument from ignorance. It's like, you do you know what that means? Do I have to? Well, guess not.
Shit.
yeah. The worst. I got told I was doing an ad hom because I told the guy I was arguing with that he didn't know some definition. Like you're ignorant of this definition.
Oh,
Well,
you're
ad
just doing
hominem.
you're just doing a too cool way now, big chum. Fuck off. Yeah, you're just doing a too
Oh,
cool way.
thank
No,
you.
now you're doing a post hoc ergo propter hoc. Fuck off. That's all they
Uh,
do.
They
you
toss
went
this shit
really
out
eight
like
mile
curse
there.
words because they think it's going to end the argument, because that's generally what happens when somebody's smart uses against them.
But then when you can correct them, right? And you can even cite them like a source and say, "Hey, go read about this fallacy," and they still fucking don't understand it.
That's because these are big boy pants, Steve.
They don't like to be
And it's not even
corrected on that
complicated.
shit. Look, if I make a fallacy and somebody points it out, I'm like, "Fuck, okay, you're right." I don't sit there and go,
But
"Oh well, no, it's not a fallacy," or worse, when they I say a fallacy and they say no, that's wrong, and then they'll be like, "Ah, shit, you're right. Okay, that's not really a fallacy."
I mean, let's just be honest, Steve. This is a trait that a lot of religious people seem to display, where they don't like to consider themselves as possibly being
Oh
wrong.
no, atheists are just as bad, dude. Equally, I think.
Well, I know quite a few, yeah, but I see this. Well, I don't talk to as many of those kinds of atheists. I'll be honest.
They're out there.
I'm just not
Wait, you
around
mean
'em.
to
I know
tell
they
me there
are.
are idiots everywhere and
I,
in every group?
that dude, that
I
guy that
already
Ocean,
knew that.
that guy that Ocean and I were just tweeting with, I actually was saying, hey, I'm giving you evidence, I'm giving you logic, and you're just ignoring it. Finally, he admitted, well, yeah, your logic seems right, but you're wrong. Okay, okay, whatever. Fuck off at that point. I mean, that's
Your
the lengths they
logic
go
seems
to,
right.
right?
Your logic seems right, but mine is righter.
Yeah, yeah. I can't disprove your logic because it's right, but yeah, but still you're wrong. Okay.
So my logic is right, but I'm wrong. Why? Because you don't like me? Oops.
Hey, Steve,
Mm.
what's your position on Hitch's razor?
Um, that what can be that be presented
Assertive
without evidence could be dismissed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, I'm not a big fan of it.
It seems lazy to me
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm not a big fan of it. And let me tell you why. Because I'm a non-evidentialist, I don't think that you have to have um, empirical evidence to support a position. And Hitchin razor actually is, if you don't have any empirical evidence for something, you then can dismiss somebody. And I don't think so. For example, I'll give you a perfect example why Hitchin razors should be used very sparingly, if at all. I just watched the other day Christina Rad's video on Lawrence Krauss, and I've always liked Christina Rad. I thought she was funny as shit. I thought she was entertaining. Yes, she's gorgeous beyond freaking belief in that accent. Oh my god! But she has a good product, right? And I watched her video, and it was all just her story, her testimony, what happened with Lawrence Krauss. Now she has no evidence to support that. Does that mean I just dismiss it like it didn't happen? According to Hitchens Razor, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Because she didn't present evidence. Well,
See,
to me,
I
she
thought
did.
it was
Wait,
more
wait. Let me finish.
people.
To me, she did
Yeah.
present evidence. She presented testimonial evidence. Christopher Hitchens and people that use that razor don't accept things like that. right? They don't accept testimony evidence because that's when the Christian comes in and says, well, we have testimony evidence from Peter, Paul, Mary, Joseph, whatever. Um, and they say, well, that's not physical evidence. Okay, but it's testimonial evidence to the Christian that they're offering it evidence.
Yeah.
Right? And so I think that Christian's Hitchens razor is not useful.
There's only one place I've ever used Hitchens razor, like seriously, and that was when I was doing jury duty.
Well, like I said, you still have to apply. You still have to evaluate testimonial evidence.
Yeah, but I was
Yeah,
doing
I
it
wouldn't.
from
I
the
wouldn't say that
perspective that the
testimonial
person
evidence
was
is
innocent.
definitely evidence, though. I've always heard Hitchens razor used more when somebody comes along with an argument, basically, well, I'm right because I say so, and it's like, well, okay, I say you're wrong.
Yeah, but
Like,
that's a fallacy. That's an argument by assertion.
yeah,
So you don't even need Hitchens razor for that. That's automatically a fallacy. Yeah. So I mean,
yeah,
but also like
I,
I'm not a big fan of, you know, was it? What's the other things that they say? I'm trying to think of some things atheists say a lot. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Yeah, I think there's some reason for that, but like Jade makes a very valid case that it's not a good position to take, because um, how do you determine what is an extraordinary claim? It's really arbitrary, right? And what do you mean by extraordinary evidence? I mean, the evidence that you need um, to convince something in science is the same pretty much across the board, except for some things like a particle discovery that requires a higher degree of certainty. But anything beyond what is it, 3 sigma, for most experiments, you can actually say there's some significance there, right? So
I think isn't the that expression that's really pretty subjective sort
it's
of
very
thing of what.
subjective. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I would define it like Bill Nye the Science Guy. One of his episodes of Bill Nye the Science Guy defined it. Well, I'm kind of interpreting it. He said an extraordinary claim at the time was the Earth was round, and it required extraordinary evidence, and it was provided. So I would imagine that an extraordinary claim
But
is something
do
that
you
has
need
rather
extraordinary
large
evidence for that?
implications.
I can show the Earth is round without giving extraordinary evidence.
I mean, but at the time, I'm pretty sure like ships
All
going over
right.
the
Well, that's
horizon was pretty
yeah. No,
extraordinary.
but that's what I'm saying, though, right? It the claim back then
very
was extraordinary. Today, it's not an extraordinary claim.
Well, no, it's not. It's all too common. But I
Right.
mean, would imagine that it changes through time, and that an extraordinary claim is something that has rather large implications. That's my definition.
Yeah. No, I think they're useful in some moderation, right? For example, like um, when you use like the Occam's razor, right, which is the law of parsimony or law of parsimony. Um, it's useful only if you use it correctly. People say, oh, if you have two competing things, you take the one with the least assumptions, but that's not necessarily true. The law of parsimony says that if you have two competing hypotheses with equal explanatory power, then you take the one with the least assumptions, right? But they have to have that caveat of equal explanatory power is critical. Power is critical because you can have two models, one very much more complicated than the other, and that one complicated is the better model. They
well,
don't
I
have
mean,
equal
Yeah,
assumptions.
this is why magic fools so many people, right? I mean, if you start applying Occam's razor to a magic trick, oftentimes you'll go entirely to the wrong conclusion because it's that you're not making the right assumptions at all. And as
Yeah,
soon as yeah. So, I mean, and this why I think like people with background understanding of like illusion and magic have a different way of looking at skepticism too, because there's certain underlying principles that you just sort of get on a fundamental level differently when you see how that actually functions with people.
yeah. Oh, Donald followed us over here. The words explicit and implicit have meanings. It's throwing these meanings away when used in front of specific words because someone coined a phrase as special pleading. Unsubscribing. No, it's not special pleading, Donald. You really need
that
to
doesn't
understand
come
these
with
things.
special
It's
treatment.
not special pleading at all. The term implicit atheist, it literally means somebody who lacks a belief in God. It's somebody that holds the position of what's called not BP if you have a predicate B the proposition P. That is what implicit atheist means. There is no other meaning to that I've ever heard from anyone besides you. It's called an epistemic modification of the word. So if I say I'm an explicit atheist, it doesn't mean that I'm explicitly saying I'm atheist. Explicit atheism means that I hold to the belief that the proposition of atheism is true, or ontologically, that I'm holding to the psychological position that there are gods in the universe. So, Donald, no offense, but you can unsubscribe, but you have no idea what the fuck you were talking about.
But he followed you from Twitter to the.
Yeah, he's in the live chat.
Huh.
Yeah. And it's, I love how they say unsubscribe. Oh, well, God forbid we have one. Oh my God, how are we going to survive? Why don't you stick around and learn something, Donald?
Watch him say that all his friends are going to unsubscribe
Come on into
too.
the chat.
Yeah, come on in. I'll take you on. We got Landon Kurt Nolan here. Landon Kurt Nolan's an 8-time mathematical world record holder with degrees in astronomy, computer programming, and mathematics. I'm sure he was happy to tell you the difference between implicit and explicit.
Also, I'm an atheist that goes by Steve's definition. I believe there is no God.
I think everybody in here goes by that. Is there anybody who prefers the implicit definition? Anybody?
No,
I don't.
No, not really.
Does anybody who prefers the explicit that I use and just about every philosopher that we know uses?
I do.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty accurate.
Well, I used to be the Dillahunty version, but I did talk to you, and once you explain it, that it's just merely talking about belief and not like absolute knowledge. It's pretty easy to see that.
Oh, poor Donald. Glad people are getting a laugh on my words being taken out of context, but ethics matter to me, so I'll be unsubscribing now. Take care. Donald, fuck off. First of all, nothing's taken out of context. We explained this completely to these people in here. You don't have to be live streamed. I can live stream without your permission. No offense, Donald. I have 3 channels. You were completely wrong. We laughed at it because you were completely wrong, and we can mock people that refuse to take correction when they're that fractally wrong. You're a potato on this, Donald. If you can't, I mean, what do you want me to say? If you want to come in here and have a civil discussion, I will take you on and I will educate you on this. But this is not something that you just say, well, I'm going to redefine everything. No, I'm going to explain to you how these words actually work when you're dealing with epistemics. I'll talk about intentionality next. That's actually one of my favorite words, Nim. Sure, intentionality is great. What intentionality means is that suppose you have 2 words that are coextensively the same thing, and if you cannot take those individual words and put them in a truth-apt proposition, and the truth-apt proposition potentially can change the state of the value of the proposition, such as it no longer is true, then you have intentionality there. So, for example, if I say Lois Lane knows Superman can fly, if I change Superman to Clark Kent because they're coextensive, right? There's intentionality there that if I put Clark Kent in there, then I say Lois Lane knows that Clark Kent can fly. Well, she doesn't know Clark Kent can fly because she doesn't know Clark Kent is Superman in the old version. So it changes the truth value of that proposition. So if you can't take the two coextensive properties and put them equally interchangeable in the proposition, then you have an intentionality issue. You're welcome.
I mean, if he thinks his words are being taken out of context, please do come in here and explain it yourself.
No, he'd rather unsubscribe.
Yeah, he'd rather unsubscribe. That's what I'm saying. I can't take these people seriously, right? It's like, oh, ethics matter to me. Oh, look, ethics matter to me too, motherfucker. Don't sit there and take a high ground. I am the one of those ethical fucking people you're going to run into. I have done nothing unethical. I laughed at your ridiculous comments that you're making on Twitter, and so was everybody else.
Fucking Twitter warrior. Ah!
Yeah, but the difference is I'll go toe to toe with somebody. I don't shrink away from that. I just have to be very quiet because there are people sleeping right now, and it's 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that you're also willing to admit if somebody is correct and you're not.
Yeah, but
I mean that's just part of the argument.
But the argument Donna was making is if I said, I lack a belief in God. I am now an explicit atheist because I'm explicitly saying my position. And we're like, no, that's equivocation. You're not using the word explicit correctly here. That's the level he's at.
Well, how would he categorize me when I tell him that I'm an apatheist, that I just don't give a fucking shit one way or the other these days?
You're an explicit apatheist now.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, apatheist would fall under implicit, right?
So is he just trying to say
By
this
Donald's
is an
definition, he's an
explicitly
explicit
stated?
apatheist.
Anybody who's not a theist automatically kind of falls into implicit. Because if you're not a theist, you don't have a God belief. If you don't have a God belief, you're a non-theist, and all non-theists are implicit atheist in that regard.
Is it that he's trying to say though that you're making an explicit statement?
Yeah, he says.
I think so. But...
Yeah, he says if I say I lack a belief in God, I am now an explicit atheist because I'm explicitly stating my position. And Ocean and I are trying to tell him he's an idiot. That's not how it works.
Yeah, because
that's not what the word means
the
when it's
statement can
used
be
in that
explicit
phrase.
even if the position is implicit.
Yeah,
Those are two separate things.
Exactly. He's confused. He's confusing the position of explicit atheism with the action of expression. He doesn't understand the difference.
I think the correct way to say that would be you're explicitly stating that you're an implicit atheist.
That's fine. Yes.
And if he had said it like that, there would be no argument.
Right. But he doesn't understand the difference.
Or at least he didn't state the difference.
It's called grammar, my friend.
Yeah.
I took a class on it. Fucking high
Well,
school.
this guy's supposed to be a linguist, I guess. And I'm like,
oh God.
I'm like, what? That's why I can't take him seriously.
I'm like a layman writer.
Yeah, no, if this was just
shit.
anybody else, it'd be fine. But he actually said he was into linguist stuff, and I'm like, there's no fucking way I can believe you, dude. No
Linguistics? He's into linguistics, Steve.
Sure.
It's not linguist stuff, it's linguistics.
Yeah, I enjoy linguistics. I wouldn't call myself a linguist. But
yeah, there's a difference between being a linguist and enjoying linguistics. Linguistics, fuck.
I enjoy math. I'm not a mathematician.
Nah, Sam, I hate math. Am I an A mathematist?
I hate having to solve for certain types of math. But I like what math is and does. You know.
I mean, I enjoy that math makes my computer run, and I can play games now because of it. But
I like it.
So if I watch porno movies, I'm a pornographarian. Am I doing it right?
I like how you said that, pornographarian.
But Red Eye, it's only if you implicitly watch them as opposed to explicitly watch explicit content.
Well, not he's saying it, so he's an.
But can you implicitly watch explicit content if the content's only implicitly explicit?
What if the content's explicitly implicit? What do I do if the content's explicitly implicit?
Use a mosaic effect to cover it up.
What the fuck? We're diving so much. We're delving. What? I'm sorry. So
I'm going after
I get tweeted. I get tagged in the weirdest things. So I don't even know if do I know this person, but I just got tweeted. All of you go GDC and Rhetoric on YouTube. Goddamn flat Earth bullshit in my Twitter feed. Steve McRae, help. I'm not kidding. Oh God. Oh God.
Steve, you know,
white knight that fights the flat Earth.
I'm not. Yeah, but that's not me. That's Rhetoric. My thing is, I like fighting Earth creationism.
I leave the fighting and flat earthers to Red. Like, it pisses me off too much.
By the way, Red's. I think you're going to see Red's coming back bigger and better here soon.
Whoa, how so?
That would be cool.
Yeah, I just think he's going to up his game on his channel a little bit.
Maybe. Hey Steve, did you see the question I posted in the live chat?
No, you did not.
Oh.
If humans evolved from rocks, why are there still rocks? Mind
You
blowing.
need to have a flat earther debate a cone earther, debate a hollow earther, debate Red's rhetoric.
There's cone earthers out there?
So we get Lord Stephen Christ, Jaron, and Red's rhetoric together.
Is the cone earth a thing?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'll represent taco-shaped Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just give the problem of solipsism to defend the taco Earth argument.
Oh God, if we had a Ronnie in that mix.
The taco-shaped Earth's got a little bit of curve, a little bit of flat. It's a nice compromise. It's delicious. I don't see what the problem
It's
is at this
cheesy.
point.
Yeah, I go for a taco Earth.
I like the idea of a concave Earth. That's a bowl.
Well, is it a corn-based taco Earth or is it a flour-based taco Earth?
Corn is the way to go for a street taco, dude.
You know.
Yeah, but for the shape of the
Nah.
planet, we're
If you want a
disgusting.
taco,
Dude,
you need to go Doritos Locos taco, man.
I remember as a museum as a kid, we were in the museum when there was a Indian type of thing. You know, what do they call them?
That's racist, Steve.
Yeah, what the hell fuck they call them? Exhibit, right? And
Yeah.
and they were making these homemade stone corn tortillas there. I mean, like literally with stone, put the flour in and do whatever they fucking did. And they put butter on it, and they were like a dime a piece. And I just remember I couldn't get enough of them. I kept having my dad buy me more and more of these things. I could not fucking stop eating them. They were so good.
I
mean,
want
they were like
one
home.
now.
They were like
Damn it,
seriously
Steve, you
made.
made me
fresh.
hungry. You've made me hungry, Steve.
Yeah, somebody in the Life His chat, and I missed it, was saying they can't believe King Crocoduck and Max will talk. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, I'm not a big fan of that. Max has a tendency to go running away, right? He's a little crybaby.
Which Max?
Not me.
Yeah, that Max.
Okay, I was gonna say because you sound more brazen than that.
No,
like,
Max Colby.
Oh, Max Colby. Ew.
Yeah, it doesn't ever end
I don't know
well.
who that is, but you.
You don't know who Max Colby is? Red Pill Religion.
No, I don't. I don't pay attention to morons.
Red Pill Religion.
I barely know who Kins is. Just saying.
Well, go look up Red Pill Religion. He's militant and he's just arrogantly wrong on everything. Do you remember that guy deflating atheism? He had like that really weird hairstyle, like Flock of Seagull shit.
Flock of Seagull.
Or is that your
Yeah, you know, the old music.
Before your time.
That sounds like a Norwegian dish. Flock of Seagull.
They were a band. Are you kidding?
They were a band. They had the crazy like.
The oldest band I'm into is Crocus, dude.
Oh, I love Crocus.
Dude, Crocus is amazing.
Crocus, yeah. Do you know that I don't know if this is true, but I'm pretty sure it is. Look it up. But I thought the lead singer of Crocus were the cousin to Bon Scott from AC/DC.
Hey Steve, I really want to talk to King Crocoduck. Can you send me in as disguised as this guy while we wait for him to actually come in, and then we'll just start from there? Damn it!
I want to talk to King Crocoduck too,
Why
but
don't you guys just
not
join when
that
I have,
bad, really.
I have King Croc on like twice a week or anymore. Why don't you just come in when he's hanging out?
Well, the last one I saw that he was in, he left before there was enough space for me to jump in.
No, you know who I really want to talk to? I really want to talk to
I have
Aaron.
him on Saturday, I think.
Have you
I got to
ever?
thank him for his large contribution.
I'd like to
to my-
shake Aaron's hand, dude.
I want to shake his hand.
Well, look at we've talked to Seth Andrews, we've talked to Aaron Ra. We'll have multiple occasions because now he's like a friend of the channel, and we've got Matt Dillahunty. So we got the trifecta there.
I'm trying to convince Nightmare Fuel to join the GDC.
What did
He said
VSS?
yes.
Wait, what did VSR83 to say? I think Dean Esme accused Steve for getting him banned from Twitter or something. How the fuck did I get him banned from Twitter?
Because Steve has all the power in the world. Because you're the worst atheist ever.
I am the worst atheist ever. I can ban people from Twitter now. Wow, that's awesome.
He's
That
so
is
bad
awesome.
an atheist
Steve,
that he's not even an atheist.
Share your
We need to
secret.
use this power for evil, Steve.
I think so.
Ban Donald Trump from Twitter.
Part of your
Can we
being
get-
Yeah, let's just go with that. Yeah, let's just Dean think that I banned him from Twitter.
I'll send you my ex-girlfriend's Twitter, and you can get her banned too.
You know what? I'm gonna call up Zuckerberg tomorrow and make sure I ban him from Facebook too.
Yeah, do that.
By the way, give me her nudes while you're on your way. I know she's got some on her Twitter somewhere.
It was in the same stream where he was challenging Mr. Medicare to a debate. Oh, I don't. First of all, I don't watch Red Pill Religion streams at all.
Oh, I know who he is now. Fuck, I know who he is.
Oh, now you know who he is.
Yeah, I watched Mr. Medicare.
Yeah, no, he's just batshit insane. I
I
can
mean, so
handle
is
dumb
Medicare,
people. I
but
don't
different way.
deal with insanity very well.
Have you seen Mr. Medicare's Internet Insanity series?
No, is it good?
Yeah, it is good actually. I like it. It's mostly him poking fun at these insane people so that other people won't go down the same route. You know what I mean?
I'll check it out.
Have you ever been able to find a JW to? Because they're pretty not vocal, but they're all younger.
Oh God, a long time ago, before most of your guys' time, there was a guy named Mark Thomas, and if you go to the older people that have been around for a while, mention that name, they'll just laugh.
Oh, I've talked to him before. He
Yeah,
comes on Krillism sometimes. He's
yeah.
the Jehovah's Witness.
He is fucking insane. He's a young earther. He's a
Well, they all
annoying
are.
Jehovah Witness, and
He'll
Yeah, they all
just
are.
he also believes that if the Bible and if the Bible wasn't around or the God doesn't exist, he said he would actually be going out raping, killing, and pillaging. And so it's a good thing that
That's
the Bible
boring.
exists because it prevents him from doing those things. I'm like, you're a fucking psycho.
But you realize we also have
They
prison for
actually
that very purpose.
see from experience. That's what they teach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
No, I
is
think
what
you're
they
right.
teach.
I think that's basically that's what they teach. You know, we're all depraved, and that we would all be
It's
going to the base
implicitly
emotions if it wasn't for the Bible or something. It's like, no, I was raised properly. I know raping, killing, and pillaging are not good things.
and
Well,
they
pillaging
have
every
like
so
their
often on a Saturday night's fine, but I mean, the other two, yeah, no, not into it.
yeah, they
he's
have like
incredibly
the
dishonest.
word that speaks for God still and everything. I suppose most of major religions.
I don't. Do JW have like one leader? I don't even know.
No, they have a governing body.
Oh,
So, but they believe that they're appointed and that there's 144,000 people that are going to get into heaven, and everybody else is going to be killed, and the rest of the witnesses are left over, get a paradise earth, like made perfect, whatever that
Ugh,
is. And then, and it was all supposed to happen in
unbelievable.
1914.
yeah.
That was the original date. But it didn't happen. So then they said, well, that was actually just the beginning of the end times. So it's been like the beginning of the end times.
Oh, so every time something bad happens, they just get more and more
Oh,
validation.
they actually have training videos. I don't know if you're familiar with John Cedars. He's like an XJ dub that does stuff more specifically on that. And he has a YouTube channel. Showed him out, but yeah, if you look at some of their like videos that they produce, they have like videos where they're like hiding in bunkers because the government has turned against them and the police are going to come and kill them all, and they're all praying. Like they have the hugest persecution complex, and they're all like acted out and whatnot as like little mini movie dramas to keep people terrified. It's ridiculous.
Fuck, dude, I have a Jehovah's Witness friend, and he told me that they actually have a room in the church with a bunch of doors in it where they practice knocking.
Yeah, they practice secret knocks so that like you know that it's a
No,
witness
not
that's
like that.
knocking.
They where they practice how they do their little pitch, you know?
Oh yeah, they do that too, but they also like within the different congregations they'll have a secret knock and stuff so that when the world goes to shit, you can like knock on one of the doors that you're not with the government because they can't figure out their complex system of knocking on a fucking door.
Is it the shave and a haircut knock?
I don't know. Maybe it's like I don't know what it is, man. I
You know
have
what the
family
shave and haircut knock
witnesses, but
is?
I never really bought into it when I was young and private. I left that shit
But
sooner
do,
than
do you know what the shave and haircut knock is?
no.
Shave and haircut, 2 bits.
Oh, the knock, 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 knock. Yeah, yeah, maybe it's that.
Yeah, shave it. That's the rhyme that goes with it. Shave and a
I didn't
haircut.
know the rhyme. I know the knock.
Yeah, that might just be a thing from my hometown. I have no idea.
Oh, it might be. I've never heard the rhyme.
Um, yeah. By the way, Tom just posted something about MJ Demore. I know him as Slash. By the way, I like Slash. I've known him for years, actually. Believe it or not. Um, he's not around often though. I mean, he kind of hangs out in like some obscure places on the internet. Have him drop by my channel more, Tom. I really like that guy. He's in the live chat, by the way, where Tom was.
All right.
Because he just posted in the
Okay.
GDC about this guy. So
Now, if you can find a JW that's actually willing to speak on a stream, I'd be shocked because they're so coached to not involve in any kind of debate. But it'd be really interesting to see because they got some fucked up.
So a JW is a Jehovah's Witness. An SJW is a super Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, that's I guess we need to find one of those SJW super Jehovah's Witnesses.
Yeah,
Shit, I've
J-dubs
had
are
fun with
annoying.
Jehovah's Witnesses.
Well, they have this.
I've
rule.
had landed on a hangout once when I had them come and talk about how the fall of Babylon was predicted in the Bible. So I've used Landon's knowledge of that part of history to pick apart their fucking shitty argument. It was fucking great fun. And the guy ended up going, but I know because my family's from Iraq. And I went, and what the fuck has that got to do with the price of tea in China, motherfucker? And I slammed the door in his face.
Well, they have this thing they call like a two-witness rule because there's some scripture in the Bible that says the word of two or more or whatnot, and they've been using it for years to like not prosecute pedophiles because if a kid comes forward and says they're being abused, there isn't a second witness. So unless it's like a three-way kind of abuse and two people come forward, it doesn't count. So they'll actively tell people to not go to the police and whatnot. It's fucked up. They got some like really destructive, fucked up beliefs, and they don't get called out for their shit often enough. Personally, I think.
It's because it's all old Asian ladies.
Yeah, my brother was J-dub. The one problem I have with J-dub, well, a couple problems, but one of the worst is the blood transfusion things and the not saluting the flag and the patriotism problems I see with them.
Shunning's not a big thing. If you're in and you leave, they tell you you're not allowed to talk to your. Like if you have kids and you're in the church and they leave, you treat them like dead.
Yeah, you disfellowship them completely.
Yeah, but it's not just like you're no longer part of the religion. Even if you like for like not doing something wrong, you just decide it's not for you. It's a total like they basically blackmail people and use their family.
Yeah, but isn't that what all these kind of look at? J-dubs do it, Mennonites do it, all the cults do it. You know.
Well, I mean,
the Mormons unfortunately don't.
There was
Catholics aren't too bad. They excommunicate, but in Australia anyway, it's not as bad. But the Jehovah's Witnesses actually are about to come under heat from because the federal government right now has the head of the Catholic Church sitting in court facing all of his accusers for child molestation charges. So the fucking happy days of the churches in Australia are fucking over. We're going through them one at a time, having royal commissions.
Well, I know the Australian Royal Commission's going after the J-dubs, but aren't they also going after like Cardinal Pell?
That's what I just said. Pell's sitting on the stand right fucking now facing his accusers, and a whole bunch of them have just come out of the woodwork since the first one fucking went public.
What's the
Pell's
church's response?
Well, the church's response is evacuate everyone to the Vatican if they fucking can and shut the fuck up and offer a shitty federal. The states have got to. The way they've done the compensation claims fucked up. You've got to sign up to the federal mandated one. That eradicates the states' rights to make their own one, and it takes away the rights of the individuals to fucking you'll get a certain amount of money, and that's that. So what that means is if you went to a boys' school, they were called things like Boys Town. If you went to Boys Town, and this is how bad it was, pedophiles would fly up from Sydney to the Gold Coast, 1,000 kilometres, pick kids up on a Friday night, take them back, use them as dick warmers, and we're talking male and female pedophiles would do this. For the weekend, then bring them back on fucking Sunday night and dump them on the doorstep and hand the fucking guy some money. And this went on for decades. And there's tens of thousands of fucking people that walk around Australia, and a lot of them were immigrants from England that had no families that were sent out to these boys' towns. Those poor bastards. I've heard some stories that just chill me to the fucking bone. It's like, it nearly bring me to tears listening to shit. I have a hard time listening to it now because some of the stories are that fucked up. It's like, wow, this was the church. This is all the church is fucking doing. These are all Catholic fucking organisations. It's like that place. Burn it to the ground at this point. Sell the gold in Vatican City to give it to charity. They'll do more fucking good. That's my opinion.
Jesus Christ. No, it's really like fucking upsetting, right? Like when you realize that it goes beyond just stupid people saying stupid things. Like there's a lot of serious and real fucking harm and people who are suffering because of like these stupid ideas. And that, it's easy to like poke fun at stuff, but when it comes right down to it, there's some like serious shit goes down.
Damn,
one of the
dude,
big
this
one of
is
the big
worse than I
problems.
thought.
Well, here's one of the big issues. A pedophile priest would be caught in a way, but back in the 70s and 60s, it wasn't cool to talk about this publicly. No one said shit. So if it was such a bad case, what the church would do is scuttle that motherfucker off and plop him up in a different state, or worst case scenario, send them to places like, I don't know, America, and get them and just slap them in the church there and let them keep doing what they were fucking doing. And then they played a big game of fucking tic-tac-toe with pedophiles for fucking decades. They didn't put a stop to them. They shifted them around. And when they got too bad, they pulled them over to the Vatican to control them that way.
Well, I mean, it comes down to that whole like bullshit of what sin or whatnot. If it's confessed and it's above the law, protect people if the law is coming for them as long as they confess or whatever. So the priest comes along and says, "Well, I'm sorry, I confess," and they go, "Okay, well, we won't let them hurt you then." You know, like it's rooted right in the doctrine.
Hey, real quick, Sean G wants to have a debate with the young Earth creationist, so I think the topic should be which one's dumber, flat Earth or young Earth creationist. I think that's a good topic. I think we could actually have a good debate on that. Actually, which one is dumber, being a flat Earth or a young Earth creationist? I personally, I'm going to go with flat Earth
every time.
Yeah, I'm going to go with flat Earth. Although,
yeah,
there might be arguments there. But I think flat Earth wins out.
No, I'm going to go with creationism. Why? Let me put forward my argument.
Most of the flat Earth people also believe in a young Earth, but they're adding a whole other dimension of stupid to their claim by like ignoring geometry as well as timescale.
All right, so would you place the flat Earth, young Earth creationist as the absolute dumbest?
No,
absolutely.
The flat Earth is dumber because they're both young Earth and flat Earth. Whereas
Well,
young Earth,
no, not always. Most flat Earthers are not young Earth creationists.
aren't a lot of them Bible literalists that believe in the
No, not all of them.
No, this is why I say creation's the dumb one, because it's the one that created the whole flat Earth thing in the first place, which gave birth to a bunch of people that don't believe in fucking creation, who know better, that went to school in modern times to think the fucking Earth's flat. That's like, it's all their fault. Let's blame them.
That's
Point fingers.
Problem. It's like it's the source of the stupidity, which makes it ultimately stupider.
Well, the fact that it probably okay. There's an argument to be made that it comes from young Earth creationism, or at least creation narrative, right? The Bible, right? I think there's an argument to be made there. But if you take the three separate positions, you have young Earth creationism, you have flat Earth, and you have the flat Earth young Earth creationist. Out of those three, I would have to say the flat Earth young Earth creationist is the absolute dumbest because it has all the hallmarks of the other two.
Which one causes the most damage, would you say?
Young Earth creationism. That's why I'm voting for it, because it's a spawn.
But that's a different question. Which one's worse as a society?
No, well, let me get to my point. It's the spawn of the whole flat Earth thing, and the flat Earth shit is just, most of it today is, let's be quite honest, there might be a few actual proponents of it, but most of the people are just fucking poser idiots that don't fucking give a shit one way or the other. Whereas, you know, that's why I think it's all its fault. Place blame at the source of the problem. it's the true evil.
Oh, Shanji now knows the Earth is flat. Okay, because before he was an agnostic on this. When he first came around, he was like, "I'm not quite sure the shape of the Earth." Now he knows it's flat. Okay.
Explain to me how we get internet in outback Australia if the Earth's flat. Just if you can explain that one, because there ain't no fucking wires running out there to everyone's house, brother. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
By the way,
I got an answer for that.
Wait, real quick. Let me explain something to Sean. And I like Sean. I'm totally fucking with him because I like Sean. He's an idiot, but I like Sean. You cannot know something if something is not true. Now, we know the Earth is not flat. That is a fact of reality. That is a fact of science. There's no discussion on that. There's no debate. It is like 1 + 1 = 2. We know the Earth is not flat. It is unequivocal scientific fact. So you cannot know the Earth is flat. You can believe the Earth is flat, but it is absolutely impossible by a tripartite method of theory of knowledge of what it means to know something. You cannot know it's flat, because we've already demonstrated that it's not flat. So that is misinformation when you say that it's flat. It's not possible.
All right, so this is how I'll show you.
I believe I know. You can say that. Sure. I'm going to let him slide on that. He believes he knows. Fair enough.
So
Hey,
this is
Rick,
it. Okay, so in Warhammer, we find out that the space orcs, their technology works off mass delusion alone. They pulled apart one of their ships, trying to figure out how they worked, and the engine inside the engine was a little box that said, "This is the engine" on the box in bad writing, and there was nothing in the box that the ship still ran. That is exactly how the Australians did it. Mass delusion.
Yeah, well, he thinks there's wires there. Okay, no.
No.
No, there's
No,
for
it's
the
mass
internet,
delusion.
there's no wires, dude. I'm telling you right there. There's no wires, and radio towers do not cut the cheese because of guess what? The fucking curvature of the Earth blocks the
Well,
signal.
that's
Hey,
that's the
holy
problem
shit!
right there.
How do you get the internet on then? The only way is by throwing a goddamn geosynchronous satellite in orbit above the fucking place that you want to give coverage to. And you need more than one, it turns out, because everyone in the outback really likes the fucking internet. Fancy that.
Fancy that.
There are no wires, and it's not wireless ground towers, terrestrial towers. It doesn't work. It costs you need repeater towers every couple of 10, 15, 20 kilometers to make it fucking have a signal strong enough to make it worth a pinch of shit. The only way we've been able to get internet to the outback is with Sky Muster. That's the only way we've been able to do it, and that's a satellite in geosynchronous orbit, and it was named by a schoolgirl.
Don't you use those spinner things to make that warbling sound? And
well, we used to tie fucking string in cans and then tie a can with the string to a magpie and then yell at it and it'd fly away, and we'd try and run, but it never quite worked out.
Oh,
yeah, and these days they call that the NBN.
But you ever notice you never find somebody like with the intellect like Landon that's a flat earther, right? You always find people that don't know shit about basic fucking science and basic maths. Those are the flat earthers. They're usually high as fuck, right? But
That's just because maths is a lie, Steve. You know that.
Steve, I got something
Math is
for
a
you.
lifestyle.
No, it's a lie.
I
They all
said
claim
meth. I was like, okay, yeah, well, meth is a lifestyle.
Yeah, maths is a lifestyle, just a very short one.
Yeah.
The fact that Landon sat down for the better part of an hour and a half, 2 hours, to try to explain to somebody that you can't have a probability greater than 1.
Oh God.
And
Oh,
did that
shit.
with such patience and at least a seeming attempt to try to understand their position. I was trying to understand their position, or at least wrong. But it says a lot for your character.
But Landon's done that before.
Even more than
Eventually, you have to go.
intelligent.
Okay.
You're clearly a smart guy, but that's very
5 hours, dude. He
But
spent 5
but
hours
That's
listening
true,
to
yeah,
fucking Edgar.
But eventually, you have to say Edgar is a fucking brain dead moron. Move the fuck on. You can't. Why waste your time explaining calculus to a turnip?
Exactly. Why do you think I was just incredibly rude to him the moment I fucking joined the
That's
hangout,
why I am. I
the
don't give a
Discord room?
shit.
I'd never heard the guy before, so I was just like, all right, this is interesting.
This is not the first time he's been lurking. And by the way, I brought Edgar into the community. I'm sorry. I found him one time years ago, and he just latched on.
Why?
I bought his book, Steve, because of you, Steve. It's all your fault,
He
Steve.
did. He actually.
You son of a bitch, Steve.
Red Eye was like one of 3 people that actually fucking bought his book.
I regret every moment of reading that son of a bitch trying to decipher the bullshit. Because, as like I said, you got to decipher what this fucking bullshit says just to work out that it's still bullshit. It's like, good God, man. It's like bullshitception. It's just layers of bullshit cake. How deep you want to fucking dive into it? It's like, well, we've dived in for about 8 hours worth of this shit now. Never again.
I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have read his book. I just no, I can't.
And I guess he didn't have
so
the decency
bad.
to.
Hey, Ganesh, get your happy ass in here, Ganesh.
It was.
I'm okay with him lacking a basic fundamental understanding of math, or light, or gravity, or pretty much every aspect of science that he talked about. But the thing that annoyed me more than anything that he said repeatedly over and over is, in my science book.
Yeah. Well, David,
Yeah, that's starting to piss me off.
do you want to know the kicker, David?
Yeah.
I got to make sure you wrap your head in duct tape first, or at least put your hands to your head to compress it so your brains don't fall out after I tell you this. Edgar claims.
This book on Amazon?
Listen carefully. Edgar claims he has a degree in civil engineering.
How?
By dropping an egg on tissue paper.
Magic.
I wouldn't want to see a society that was engineered by him.
I asked him what Young's modulus was. He has no fucking idea. I asked him what the derivative of x squared was. He has no idea. And I'm like, you're a civil engineer and you don't know basic calculus, or you don't know what Young's modulus is, which I can guarantee it, any civil engineer would know what Young's modulus is. And I'm like, you're just full of shit, dude. You're just literally full of shit.
I'm not convinced the guy could build a footbridge over a half-meter wide creek with a plank.
I wouldn't trust him to build a fucking paper airplane.
He'd throw it and it'd fly backwards.
It would just fly backwards and it would crash. No person actually somehow explode.
See, then he'd have a discovery. If he could make a paper airplane throw and it just goes backwards all by itself, that'd be pretty cool. Then
he like tries to throw and it just hovers in the air.
Oh god!
And then it like nose bombs into the ground and explodes.
Okay, but look at this.
Explosion.
But Shaggy, you know what? At least Edgar's not a flat earther. So either are people dumber than him. I just think about that. Wrap your head around that.
Oh God! Well, at least those people aren't creating their own scientific models. They're just going by what some dumbass told them.
True. Good point.
I use the term scientific model extremely loosely, by the way. And I wasn't joking when I told him that I explained his character to some of my friends that are laughing at him. I told them I'm talking to this dude who thinks he's reinvented intelligence.
I sometimes get really afraid of the fact that the people who should be voting are vastly outnumbered by people who probably can't read the ballot.
I'm scared by the fact that is Edgar American? Does he live in America?
No, he's in Japan.
Oh, good. I was gonna say if he's in America, I would be scared by the fact that he'd be voting.
Is he Asian?
Yeah.
He sounds Indian.
I thought he was Indian.
He was born in the Philippines.
You know. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, I guess that the stereotypes are all wrong.
Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense that he's Philippine or Filipino, whatever. Fuck, I don't know. I guess it makes sense that he comes from the Philippines. You know, where they have psychic surgery and other crazy shit like that. Do you know what psychic surgery is? Fucking
yeah.
Other people here.
Yeah, I've done demonstrations of it, like not for real, but
yeah. You haven't gone in as a doctor and told somebody, oh, okay, I'm gonna remove this thing with my mind.
No.
Like the stage setup. You did a stage.
I've done demonstrations in the same way Penn and Teller do a demonstration thing.
Yeah. But yeah, fuck, dude. He comes from that place. So I'm not surprised that he's this delusion.
Wow.
And because I'm like the nicest person in here, Edgar, and you haven't pissed me off yet, I'm gonna say I'm not trying to be mean. I just think you're a fucking retard.
He's definitely not getting something. Like
what?
He's definitely not getting something, right? Like
he's just terrible at talking. Worse than me, man, and I'm terrible at talking.
Yeah, I couldn't define anything really from what he was saying.
I'm willing to even give him the tiniest bit of a pass, and the fact I think part of it has to do with the fact that there's got to be some kind of language barrier between English and whatever he speaks natively. I'm sure that's at least a factor, but it doesn't account for all of it.
What he obviously doesn't speak Japanese in his native. Sorry.
I'm sorry, Max. I talked over you. Go ahead.
I was going to say what he should do is write a book in his best language, his first language, the one he speaks the best, and then have somebody translate it.
Yeah,
it's not
like they do with anime.
It's not a language barrier problem. He's just that stupid.
Oh,
I mean, he stutters. Steve, I wanted to not have all of my hope in humanity crushed.
Your hopes are just demolished.
This isn't an insult to Midnight, but he stutters more than Midnight.
I don't have a problem with the stuttering and whatnot. I mean, that's
no, it's like he's language searching. And the last dude I met who language searched that much without something like without like an inherent stutter had done coke for 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how many of them use English as a second language? It's a shit language, man.
It is a shit language. It's because it's a fucking bastard language of a bastardized language that was made from a bastardized language.
No, it was made from all the bastardized languages.
And
Just like
then they
satyrs are
all
made from
had
all
a
the
bastard
bastardized
child.
creatures.
Excuse you, Max. You always have to get racist with me.
That's because you're disgusting.
It's not racist, it's
Steve,
speciesist.
make him stop making him be speciesist, Steve.
I'm sorry, what?
Stop making Max speciesist to me. He's making fun of satyrs as a people.
Well, I mean, maybe he's not into bestiality.
Well,
Yeah,
English.
see?
Good point. That is a very good point, Steve.
Then again, he's an animal, so.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Technically, satyrs are part animal, so even though I'm part human, if I fuck an animal, it's only
Humans
half
are
bestiality.
animals.
Yeah, so bestiality doesn't exist in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Is that
Anyway.
implicit bestiality or explicit bestiality?
It depends. It depends. It depends if there's consent or not on the animal.
Yeah, well, that's my issue with the Middle East and goats. There's never been consent there.
Ooh, someone asked me for my opinion on something on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
I'm all Twitter-pated.
Steve,
I'd like your opinion on it. Who the fuck asked me for my opinion? Nobody gives a shit about me. What the fuck do I know? What the fuck? Oh, God. Okay, fine, whatever.
What are they asking for?
And I like this guy. This guy's really cool. His name's Creationist Misconceptions. He says, Steve, I like your opinion on this. 1, I believe every religion I know of is false. I actively deny the Abrahamic God as depicted in each of the differing texts, as well as other gods that I know of. 2, I don't deny the possibility of gods. Am I atheist or agnostic? So let's analyze this for this gentleman here, who, like I said, who I actually really like. So the first question, I believe every religion I know is false. Well, do you see the problem that he has in the very first sentence?
That he believes that every religion is false.
Mm-hmm. What's the key word in that sentence where?
Believe.
No.
Believe.
No. What's the word in there that actually has nothing to do whether you're an atheist or agnostic?
Religion.
Religion.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether you believe in a religion or not.
It matters if you believe in a deity.
Thank you. So that's where the mistake runs. So.
I assume though that he's meaning that.
But you cannot make any assumptions though. Not when people ask you for your opinion. You got to be precise.
Yeah, I suppose he would have to clarify if he means the deities of the various religions before that.
Do you lack a belief in any form of deity? Yeah. And in that case, you are an atheist.
So if you were to operate on the
if you lack
assumption
a
that he
belief
was referring to all of the deities of the various religions, and the same question were posed, what would your answer be to agnostic versus atheist?
What was your question?
Well, if you,
oh, I'm sorry.
If you were to operate on the assumption that he did mean the deities of the various religions presented versus just the religion itself, right? If you were to change the phrasing there, then would you say agnostic or atheist?
If he denied all the gods, right, that would be atheist because you're saying at that point no gods exist.
Well, if he said, I actively don't believe in any of the gods, but I don't deny
That's
the
not what he says.
possibility
He says,
of
I
God."
actively deny.
Okay.
I actively deny the Abrahamic God is depicted as well as all other gods that I know of. And that's the problem right there, though, that he knows of. What about the gods he doesn't know?
What's the end of the statement,
Wouldn't
Steve?
that be, at that point, implicit in the sense that you could be presented with other gods, but without evidence your position remains the same?
Yeah, he would fall under implicit, because if he had a God belief, then if he knew about that God, he would believe it if it was explicit. But the question, it's unresolved because he says, as well as other gods that I know of. Well, okay, you're not saying, though, there are no gods, because you're just saying, of all the gods I've heard, they don't exist. Okay, well, you can still be agnostic or atheist, depending on if you want to go one further and say, well, I don't believe in any God. Or excuse me, I believe that no gods exist. Sorry.
Yeah,
but I mean,
Yeah, but what was the end of his post? What was the last line in that post?
Oh, am I agnostic or atheist?
Sorry, okay, one back from that.
I don't deny the possibility of gods.
That puts him agnostic immediately, doesn't it?
No. Denying the possibility of gods makes no difference. You could be a hard atheist and still say the gods are possible.
I think
denial of the existence of any god.
Yeah, but no. See, the difference is, as an atheist, you can say, well, it's not impossible for there to be a god, right?
But that then falls under soft atheism, doesn't it?
No.
Well, I mean, you could say, I don't believe humans ever lived with dinosaurs, but I don't believe it's impossible for humans to live with dinosaurs. In the sense, like, you could Jurassic Park those things up somehow, maybe. Like, it's a possible reality, but you don't believe that it occurred, right?
I think it's more accurate to say, I don't believe there were dinosaurs, but I believe dinosaurs are a possible creature. It would be possible for dinosaurs to exist, but I don't. Actually, another one. I don't believe humans have spoken with aliens or that aliens have ever visited Earth, but I believe that aliens do exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those are two different propositions.
Well, yeah.
Yes, but they're all put into the same frame.
God versus the possibility of it existing.
The fact that they share a single fact, the existence of aliens, I don't think actually is relevant. You've got two separate propositions. Humans have spoken with aliens. I deny this. Aliens possibly exist. I accept that. Two separate propositions. Yes. I don't think that you can conflate the two.
So yeah, I don't actively believe in aliens, but I accept that.
This. Okay, look at. When we're talking about beliefs, and we're asking you what you believe, right now you would agree. Let's go even back a step. You would agree that you do not hold a God belief, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you believe that a God exists?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that a God does not exist?
I would suspect so.
Don't use weasel words. Don't use probabilities. Either yes or no questions. You agree that you don't have a God belief, okay? You agree that you don't believe gods exist. Now the question is, do you believe that? Do you believe that God? You said you believe you can't say you believe God exists, so you're not a theist. But can you say, I believe there are no gods? Yes or no?
I would say yes to that, but that wouldn't necessarily mean that I would say that there's no probability that they could.
Well, probability has nothing to do with it. There's always a probability. Forget probabilities. We all agree there's a probability. There's a God. Let's just go with that, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's a probability. Do you
it's
believe...
somewhere less than 300%.
Yeah, it's around 300%. Well, you can have 300%. You can't have 300 probability, right?
I know.
Okay, so look at... If you can say, I believe there are no gods, you are an explicit atheist. If you cannot say that, then formally speaking, you're not an explicit atheist. You're an implicit atheist or agnostic or many other things. You can be atheist, you can be a theological cognitivist, you can be a lot of different positions. But if formally speaking, it's somebody who believes there are no gods or believes that the proposition of theism is false. That's what formally speaking it means.
Yeah. I mean, I also actively acknowledge I haven't heard every theistic position, but I've not heard any that convince me.
Do you need
right?
I look at. I'll play the part of an atheist.
I'm an implicit
Dave,
atheist.
I will play the part of an atheist. I believe there are no gods. There are no gods in the universe. I'm perfectly justified to do that if I can give you a reason for that, which I could if I wanted to. But I'm not an atheist. But you can say that. There's nothing wrong with saying that. You don't have to know every possible God out there. You don't have to know every argument. You can hold to a belief. You can say, I believe there are no gods. Okay, great. There's nothing wrong with that. Why not take the stronger position?
It's like for the same reason. You don't need to see every picture they say there's UFO.
You guys cannot talk over each other. I can't hear both of you.
I still think that there is a difference between I believe there are no gods and I do not believe.
There is a difference. Of course, there's a difference. That's not the argument. There's a huge difference.
So I would take the latter. I don't believe in any.
Okay, but okay. Let me explain it this way. When you say, I believe there are no gods. That entails I do not believe there are gods. Okay, but saying I do not believe gods does not entail I believe there are no gods. Okay, there's an entailment factor there.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
That's,
There's nothing wrong with saying I believe there are no gods for an atheist. You can make that argument. You can justify it. Why not take the stronger position? Unless you don't hold to that. You don't agree with atheist arguments?
no, I do, but isn't it more of a shifting of the burden of proof problem then
No.
because you're making a claim?
No.
No, because belief is not a claim to knowledge.
Yeah, belief is not a claim to knowledge. Belief is belief.
Oh, I suppose, yeah, because if I'm saying I believe there are no, it's different than saying there are no gods, which is knowledge claim. Yeah, you're correct. Absolutely.
So if I was a theist and you're having a conversation with me, right, and I say, hey, Dave, I believe God exists, and you're like, okay, I don't believe you. And I'm like, okay, fine. Well, what do you believe? Okay, well, if you just keep on saying, well, I don't believe God exists, you're not telling me what you believe. Why have a conversation? At that point, you're
Well,
just being a little dishonest because I'm telling you what I believe. I want to know what you believe, and you just sit back going, well, I don't believe you. Well, so what? Get the fuck out of here. Okay, moving on. That's the most dishonest way to approach a conversation. I'm not bitching at you, Dave. I'm just saying hypothetically, right?
No,
anyway,
well,
anyway,
if positioning is important.
Yeah. Go ahead,
if
Crunch.
if you say God does not exist, can't you just restate what was said there as I believe God does not exist? Isn't that essentially the same thing? You're not making a universal claim when you say God does not exist. You're just basically
That is
saying
a
I
universal claim.
believe that God does not
That
exist.
is
No,
that's
the same thing.
different. You're not making a knowledge claim.
Yeah, no, it's not a knowledge claim. It's a belief claim. Look, if I say God does not exist, that is not a knowledge claim, right? But it is making a claim that supposedly comports with reality or the state affairs of the universe, right? I'm saying that there are no gods, ontologically speaking, in this universe. I'm making a claim to existence of them. Nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. Why atheists shy away from that, I don't know. It makes them look very weak when they do that.
It's partly, I think,
Is
to
this
do with
something
the
that
way
you're
that
going
it's been
to chat
spoken
with
about.
Matt Dillahunty about when he comes on?
I'm sorry, what, Dave?
I heard you were going to have Matt Dillahunty on, and I know that he takes more of like sort of the soft position in some ways. Are you going to chat with him?
Yeah, Matt knows both positions. He prefers the implicit approach, but he's well aware there's multiple. Although he is changing his positions on a few things. Like he changed his position on agnostic atheist, right? He actually had said to Anthony Magnabosco in a video that he now accepts that agnostic atheist in a lack theist position, in an implicit position, right, a lack of belief position, is nonsensical, and he's absolutely right.
Oh, yeah. I've always had an issue with that.
What does the live chat say? God doesn't exist equals same kind of claim as any other, and if you can't reason it, you can't claim a gut feeling. Stop BSing McCrae. What does that mean? I can claim that God doesn't exist and be perfectly justified to do it. There's actually a book out there called Atheism, a philosophical justification to atheism. But yeah, I don't know why you can't claim God does not exist. It's perfectly fine. You don't need a gut feeling. You can use epistemic reasoning for it. Most atheists I know will claim there are no gods, and they're happy to tell you why, because they're educated and give you very good arguments for their justification. Anybody here can give a justification why they're atheist? An explicit atheist.
I don't see evidence currently. Oh, explicit? Am I?
Yeah.
I would give
one would be a
probabilistic.
lack of evidence based on theistic claims, which
that's an argument from ignorance, though. You can't do that.
Well, not in the sense that if you look at the evidence that's given from different theistic groups as proof, those things are usually not evidences.
Right, but the best you can get to that is I don't believe you, but you can't get to I believe gods don't exist from somebody else's evidence. You need to provide your own evidence. You can't say I believe gods don't exist because people are giving me bad evidence. That doesn't make any sense.
That's the no black swan fallacy or something, right? Like you've given bad arguments, so there are no good arguments, or
No, then I'm not saying that it's only one part of it. The other part is that it philosophically seems to me to contradict itself in most ways based on the definitions of God that are typically given. So without
but again, that only can get you to okay, I'm not believing the theist, but it doesn't get you to justification of saying there are no gods.
And I'll give mine if if Dave is satisfied with how he explains his, but
Sure. Dave, you good?
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, so I just look at it as, historically we've always wanted to know the reasons for why things, the reasons behind why things are the way they are. We understand that humans are prone to storytelling and making up like explanations in the face of not actually having one. So I also look at like the history of the beginning of religion from more primitive animistic gods and giving human traits and properties to non-animate objects, non-sentient objects into um, putting deities into beings and multiple beings and singular beings. And I just look at all of the history. I look at the non-cognitivist explanations, like the nonsensical explanations people give for things that they ascribe to their god, and I look at it probabilistically and say the the probabilities that people would be describing an actual thing that exists instead of just making up an explanation is higher, or sorry, is would be lower than if the thing actually did exist and they just happen to get it right by making up a story for why the things are the way they are.
That's quite
You,
good. No, that's quite good. I
Yeah,
accept that.
and I mean
Steve,
that kind of comes into which I've gotten into with people plenty of times. It's kind of like when you look at like the psychology behind things and like the propensity of people to make type 1 versus type 2 errors and
Oh, let's get. Oh, we need Edgar in here to explain those.
Steve, it looks like there's at
we
least
can
7
demonstrate
compounds
them.
here.
Oh,
So
dude,
I'm
he
thinking,
doesn't know what a type 1, type 2 error is. I've asked him that question before. Don't worry.
But yeah, so like when you get into that kind of examination, you can definitely use it as at least an evidence for a reason why the idea of God exists or likely exists from like a social evolution standpoint, and you use the probability argument. It doesn't necessarily address the arguments that people try to make with the sort of like the prime mover sort of arguments, but again, those really come down to like a justification process that I just don't think holds water.
Yeah, no, I think there's something to be said to that. And by the way, Big Jim, I like probabilistic arguments, right? Because I think you're perfectly fine to saying, for an atheist or an explicit atheist to say there's less likely to be a God, so I believe that there are no gods based upon probability. You're perfectly fine to do that. Like a perfect example would be if I have a deck of cards, right? I got 52 cards. There's 26 hard or 26 red, 26 black, and I shuffle them and I deal the top card and it's a red card. Now, if I ask you, is the next card going to be black? You're really not justified to say I believe the next card is going to be black, right? Because the odds haven't really dramatically improved that much, right? You can say I don't know. I'm agnostic on it. Okay, I take the top card and it's red again. Let's say I do that 12 times and there, I get 4 black and 8 red, right? It's pretty random.
Yeah.
But eventually you get to the point where you're like, oh, you know what? I know there's more black cards in the deck than red cards, and therefore you say, I
That's
believe
why
the
it's
next card's
created
black because
Blackjack,
probabilistically it's more likely that it's a black card. That's fine. You can do that. That's
I
all,
think
that's
you
all
can.
it is.
So
I think
the problem is that I would have is I don't necessarily think that you can make a probabilistic argument for whether there is a God because I don't know what you would base the probability on. I think that you can make a probabilistic argument as to whether or not God was invented by people.
well
Which is a thing.
the common facts argument or the minimal facts argument, whatever, it does attempt to make a probabilistic argument that the resurrection of Jesus Christ is best explained by the evidence of, and so it should probably be a supernatural cause over a natural cause. But I think, I think the assumption there is that he did resurrect.
But you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to quantify the proposition of God into a probability, but you can at least get closer to quantifying what is more likely that this is a proposition that was invented by people based on certain traits versus an actual thing. Whereas if you're just like taking that factor out of the equation entirely and just trying to calculate the probability of a deity of some sort, I don't know how you arrive at a probability on that.
Right.
This is something that comes up on the atheist experience fairly often, where Matt Delante is very fond of pointing out that you can't assign a probability to a god.
Well, yeah,
There's nothing
like
inherent.
I don't. At least if there's a way to do it, I've never heard it presented in a way that seemed coherent to me, right? But I've definitely heard things that are more coherent, that are like measuring what we know about people and propensities and societies, and the fact that there's been multiple gods created and all of that kind of thing. Um, that seems to be a more cogent argument, but
I think that we can sort of assign a probability to people creating gods. We've seen it happen. We can sort of measure some of the factors. But then how do you compare that to the probability of a god actually existing if it's got a null value? What is
well, that's why I would say
0.5 greater than unknown?
That's why I would say I don't necessarily think that it's impossible for a god to exist, but I don't believe that there is one because of the probability that people likely, at least for anything that I've been presented with, just created it on their own.
Don't get me wrong, I agree with you. I'm very strongly in favour of the concept that there most likely are no gods based on the fact that we see so much evidence of gods being created by man rather than the evidence that I would expect to see of gods existing in the world that I don't. It's one of those lack of evidence is actually evidence of lacking, I believe. But I still come back to we can't compare, say, 0.75, 0.8 as a probability value for mankind creating gods versus the null value of a god actually existing.
Yeah. Yeah, to me, it's two different propositions.
Indeed. But we're talking here about weighing up the relative probabilities of two propositions to figure out which is the more likely to be true. And if one of those propositions has a null probability, you can't compare against it.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Which in no way implies that I think that that the probability of a god actually existing is any value at all, and especially certainly not high probability.
Yeah. I would assume it's probably low, but I have no
and then we're making assumptions.
It's just an assumption, right? Like there's like I have no basis, which is why I wouldn't use it in an argument.
I think this kind of discussion is where we get the reluctance to make a claim or to make an assertion.
Yeah, they
to
need
the
to stop
effect that
doing that.
Gods don't exist.
But it makes them look so weak. It really does. And then I get like somebody just messaged me. They said, "I don't understand Steve's claim that one can quote deny all gods you don't know and still hold to the possibility of gods." Well, why is that a contradiction? I can say I
That's
deny
not a
God.
contradiction.
Yeah, I can say I deny gods exist, but there's a possibility they do. What's wrong with that? I don't know why people get so confused with this. This is not that complicated.
Yeah, I think you just need to break down and explicitly say that it's talking about belief versus like an epistemic belief versus like a belief which is like absolute. Like you're saying, based on the knowledge I have, I don't believe. But you're not saying that, or like based on the knowledge you have, you don't think that this thing exists. But you're not saying that it absolutely doesn't exist.
Well, what I guess it comes down to, I'm saying based on the knowledge I have, I believe this doesn't exist, but I also acknowledge that my knowledge is incomplete.
Right. Right, and I think, well, you know what it is? Like, for example, when Dawkins came up with a scale, he put strong atheist as somebody who's certain God doesn't exist. And there's nobody else does that, right? There's no epistemic certainty when you say, I know God doesn't exist, right? You don't have to have epistemic certainty to do that, right? Now, I think you have a strong burden to do that. I think you have a strong argument you need to make for that, but you don't have to have certainty. You know, I know Santa doesn't exist. I can demonstrate why he doesn't exist. I give you an argument why he doesn't exist. I don't have to have certainty of it, even though I do, but I don't have to. But that's what the problem is they don't really understand the relationship between belief, knowledge, and certainty. For example, we've had people that we've argued and try to explain to them, look, if you know something, you actually believe it too at the same time, because knowledge entails belief, and they don't seem to get that, right? They don't want to understand that if you know something, you also believe it.
I think
Hi.
part of the reason a lot of people take that weaker position, though, is because if you end up having to defend that position, it can derail the conversation from where, like if you have a proposition that you're presenting, you're talking with somebody, and you get hung up on hard atheism versus soft atheism, and that's all the discussion turns into, then you may not really get to address the actual claim that's being presented because there's a barrier, right? I mean, how many times have you heard a theist, if somebody says, "I believe there are no gods," automatically say, "Well, then you have to prove there's no gods,"
They're wrong,
right? And they won't move forward in the conversation.
but they're just as wrong as the atheist who says, well, the atheist is making the claim, therefore the burden should be all on them. I find that to be the most dishonest form of argumentation. I had the same discussion with Atheist Edge, right? Courtney and Jim and TJ from the Atheist Edge, and Courtney got it. Courtney actually agreed with me. She even said, because I said, let's get somebody else like Ocean in here because it's like 3-on-1, and she goes, no, it's 2-on-2 because I'm actually on your side on this one. It was nice. It was flattering, but there's no reason an atheist should be unwilling to take upon the burden. Look, you want to promote atheism, right? You want people to not have religion. You want people to not believe in God, at least generally speaking. So why not give them a reason? Let me play devil's advocate again, Dave. I'm the theist, okay? And I say, Dave, I believe in God, and you go, okay, Steve, I don't believe you. Okay, well, fuck off. This conversation's
I wouldn't
over.
say I don't believe you. Like you absolutely have your belief. I believe that you believe what you believe.
Well, sure.
I would say I don't share that belief, or I don't have a good reason to believe. And I think that the reason I would frame that is not necessarily because if somebody were to ask, do you believe there are no gods? I would answer yes to that question, but I wouldn't necessarily frame it that way. And it's not so much because of taking a weak stance, so much as trying to prevent somebody from digging in their heels before a conversation can move to a productive place. If that makes any sense, like more psychological positioning rather than like getting caught up into a semantic argument.
Not necessarily.
I think that's at least the reason why most people do this, but I don't know.
Ooh, cake. Oh, it has raisins in it too. Am I weird for liking cake with raisins?
Depends on what kind of cake it is.
It's not like
Gotta be like
a
cinnamon
birthday cake.
frosting raisin cake.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
That sounds delicious.
I'll give you
It is delicious.
another example in a second here. 1 sec.
My grandma baked it herself as a reward for me not getting convicted. Haha.
Just to be clear, I'm not necessarily taking a contrary position here on the other side. I'm just trying to say I think that there may be other reasons beyond just trying to be like intellectually dishonest. I don't think
I get that. No, I understand that. I don't think everybody falls under that. I don't think they're willfully being intellectually dishonest. But,
no,
but
let me
try it this way. Say, hey, Steve, what do you believe?
Okay, what do you believe?
Okay, and again, devil's advocate here. And I say, I believe in God. I believe gods exist. Okay. And I say, David, what do you believe?
I believe there isn't evidence to support that or convince me.
No, I'm not asking you what your judgment on my opinion. I'm asking you what your belief is. What is the conviction you hold to?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Steve,
I mean, I would say that I don't believe in gods.
I didn't ask you what you
Steve,
don't believe.
Steve,
Wait,
looking.
Shaggy, hang on. I didn't ask you what you don't believe in. I asked you what you believe in. I don't want to know what you don't believe in.
Oh,
What
I
do you believe
believe
in?
that there is a certain extent to the universe that we can measure. We
That's
can't
not what I
measure
asked you.
all
I
of
asked you about gods. I want to know what you believe about gods is. Well, okay, I need to clarify. I'm asking you about your belief about God.
Okay.
This is CNN. How do I know that?
Say, I don't believe in that God.
I don't care what you don't believe in. I'm asking you what you believe.
What I do believe in.
You
Right.
believe what?
But what I would say is what I believe in is the evidence that's there. Like, and we
Do you see how you're avoiding the question, Dave, though? Look, it's very simple. You asked me a straightforward question as a theist, right? Now the theist is making you look like an idiot because the theist says, yeah, I believe God exists. Okay, straightforward, direct, honest answer. And then the theist asked you the same question, and you just spent 7 sentences and still not told me a damn thing about your belief when it comes to God. That makes you look weak. All you have to say is, I believe God's don't exist. Okay, great. Now we both have a burden, we both have a discussion, and we both have carry on. What's the big deal? It makes you look far stronger than trying to pull a creationist move and go, well, I'm not going to tell you what I believe. I'm just going to tell you what I don't believe. Does that make
Fair
sense?
enough.
I want atheists to be stronger at this. I want them to look better because I see them arguing against theists, and they pull this lack of belief crap, and the theist just annihilates them.
Correct. Well, when Steve asks, what do you believe? I would say there is no God or gods. Do you see?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I see. I suppose it doesn't necessarily logically follow if you that means that you believe there are no God or gods.
Wait, what? What do you say?
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, like, if you say I don't believe in any gods, doesn't it logically follow that means that you believe there are no gods?
Yes.
No, it doesn't.
Well, wait.
I'm sorry, no, it doesn't, Steve.
Wait. Run it by. Maybe I didn't hear him right. Run it by me one more time.
I said, if you say I don't believe in any gods, does it not logically follow that you believe there are no gods?
No, you have it backwards. If you say,
yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
totally.
If you have it backwards, if I say I believe there are no gods, then it logically follows that I have no God beliefs. Therefore, I don't believe in God. But if you say I don't believe in God, it doesn't follow that you say I believe God doesn't exist. One entails the other, and you have it backwards.
No, I totally do. It's partly because it's 7 a.m. where I'm at.
Yeah, no, that's why I thought I heard you too. That's why when E-Monk said no, it's wrong, I'm like, well, okay, maybe I heard him wrong.
Yeah, no, that was just me misspeaking, and that's why I corrected myself right away and said, no, you're right.
The way it's written, kind of, this is a metal. The metalogical symbolism is maybe not perfect, but the way I would write it with metalogic would be something like this. One sec.
So it looks
Damn
like
it, we
Sean
made him
G
bring out the metalogic.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Now again, if somebody's really into logic, they're probably going to laugh at this, but this is how I would probably do it.
Heresy is magic.
What's funny, Shaggy?
I found the best of gifts.
Oh wait, no, that's not right either. God damn it, here we go. Let me do it.
Where the hell did all the lids go?
There we go. That's how I would write it. Okay, so I would write it like that. And again, whoever knows logic, it's just probably stupid. But the way I'm just relating that as the belief that the proposition is false entails that I don't believe P is true. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that's true.
But the other way around doesn't hold, right? I don't believe P, it doesn't entail that I believe P is false.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's an important distinction that I think a lot of people miss, is that that's a one-way proposition or one-way statement.
Where'd you post this, Steve?
Yeah, it's not bidirectional. This is another thing that they get confused, right? knowledge entails belief, but belief doesn't entail knowledge.
What?
Knowledge
I see, I
entails
get it.
belief, but belief doesn't entail knowledge.
Yeah, I
Because
get it.
knowledge is a proper subset of belief.
Correct.
Friendship is magic, and magic is heresy.
There actually
Steve,
is.
where are you posting this?
Oh, in the stream chat.
Oh, YouTube. Okay.
No, in the
God is
Discord.
love. Love is blind. God
Yeah,
is
the
blind.
Discord, it's the stream chat right above this.
Yeah, I can post it in the live chat. They should be able to see it though.
Never mind. Never mind. I could see it. Sorry. Thank you.
Jupiter is so beautiful in the night sky. I'm excited to see Venus, but I haven't been up early enough. As in, like, evening.
I think the other thing is when you see most debates, right? Like when you see most public formal debates of any sort, and when the God proposition comes up, it is usually the positive claim, right? Like, I mean, you see, like, there is good reason to believe a God exists, right? And then the other person's taking the opposite side. But you don't often see debates framed as the claim being no gods exist.
One more time.
Most debates I see, and I don't see all debates, you see them framed in the context of, there's a good reason to believe a God exists, or et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't see many debates framed as the proposition being no gods exist, just full stop.
Well, yeah. Well, you do. Atheism would be the proposition that no gods exist. That's what the atheist position is in philosophy.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying is when, at least when you see how debates are billed, it seems most people avoid having it under that context. Like there seems to be a game of avoiding proof that happens quite often.
Well, yeah, but
It's like a hot potato game.
But again, if you're having a discussion, and if one person says, "I believe P is true," then to have an actual argument in argumentation theory, the other side needs to say, "I believe P is false." Okay, it's not "I don't believe P." It's "I believe P" or "I believe P." I believe not P. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I say I believe P, meaning I believe that there are gods, if we have P is some god, at least one god exists, then the opposite position needs to take I believe not P. I believe that there are no gods. So both parties in that interlocutory situation have to have a burden of justification. And when the atheist tries to ignore it and just say, well, I'm not making a positive claim, well, they can rightly fuck off then, and they don't have any business being in the conversation.
No, I agree. That's why I say it seems to be this weird game of hot potato.
Yeah, it's called tennis burden shifting or tennis burden shifting.
Yeah,
playing tennis.
And it's something that somewhat annoys me in general, right? But I just never really bothered to try to articulate it.
To be fair, though, the theists have been doing similar things for a long time. They've been saying, I believe that God exists, and you say, I don't believe you, and they say, prove it. Prove that God doesn't exist.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, but how do you prove a negative? All right?
Oh, you can prove some negatives.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like, you can prove that there are no 300% probability.
If the person you're talking to will use logic, sure.
Yeah.
But try proving to most people that a posteriori, God, I can't say that word.
A posteriori
probability is always unity. How many people actually understand what that means?
What,
the
unity?
likelihood of something having happened is always 1.
Yeah, I would say that the average person wouldn't even understand the proposition or the question.
That's why people mess up the whole thing about, if you're flipping coins and you've flipped 5 heads in a row, what's the probability the next one's going to be heads? 50-50.
Well, it remains 50-50 every time you reflip it.
Exactly. The past events don't alter the future. And in that specific instance, there are cases where it does. Obviously, the drawing cards example that Steve gave earlier was one.
Yeah, that's why you can count cards in blackjack. But it's also why that same principle doesn't apply to Russian roulette. Or even regular roulette, for that matter. Actually, I suppose it would apply to Russian roulette if you were just continually pulling the trigger and letting the barrel spin. But if you respin the barrel each time, it doesn't apply.
Actually, it'd be an interesting situation, or an interesting problem to calculate the probabilities based on things like the birthday problem.
Not familiar with the birthday problem.
If you have a number of people in a room, what's the probability that two of them share a birthday?
1 in 38 or something, wasn't it?
Well, once you reach approximately 50 people in the room, the odds are almost 1 that 2 people in the room will have the same birthday.
Yeah, it's pretty almost a given. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty almost.
Yeah, it's if you got over like 3 to 4 dozen or something like that, there's like 50-50 chance that you're going to have somebody that's going to have the birthday with you or something.
It's 23 people. I just looked it up. It's 23 people in a room. It's 50-50.
Yeah.
At 70 people, it's 99.9% chance. You've got 365 options, but yeah.
Is it that any 2 of them have the same birthday, or is it that one has a birthday?
Any
okay.
2.
Yeah, that's kind of counterintuitive because you'd think that the odds would be something like 1 in 365.
Yeah, or 70 people, it should be 70 in 365, but it works out at 99.9%.
It's kind of like 6 degrees of separation, counterintuitive, but it works out.
Well,
is it like a statistical thing? Like it's statistically verified?
Because there's definitely certain times of year where I do believe that there's spikes in birth rate. So I'm sure that factors in.
Yeah, that's where I was going to ask about it, because
who here was born on April 4th?
If it's a statistically verified thing, then that would be interesting.
Well, it's
That'd be really interesting.
It's like if you have a good memory and a few good mnemonic tricks to memorize stuff, and you go and you memorize popular baby names for certain locations and time frames and years. This is going to be like statistical, like this is the most popular name, and you're doing something like cold reading. If you have a rough idea what somebody's age is and what the letter of their name starts with, you can guess with the name that's more likely, and it gives you a higher hit rate as a cold reader. Now, most of them just throw out random stuff because they're bad at it. But if you look at somebody, Karen Brown does a lot of stuff like that. That combines statistics and memory and cold reading and whatnot to have a higher accuracy on hit rates. But that's back to sort of more blackjack, right? Where you eliminate so many cards, probability goes up based on how many you know are out.
Good thing about counting cards is it gets really easy because you only have to count the tens.
The comparison between counting cards and counting birth rates is different because the cards, you know what number of cards in the deck of each kind are going to be, but for birth rates, it's not like there's like a certain number of birth dates that there can be or something like that.
Well, there is a certain number of birth dates that there can be, and then there's certain spikes in them, and then there's the combination of people. Now that you talk, I've seen like a breakdown of how they arrive at the math for it, and it's really interesting how they do it, but I can't break it down off the top of my head.
Yeah, they make a jump to factorials that eludes me, so.
Yeah, it's like I can follow it when it's explained to me, but I have a hard time actually sitting down and explaining it off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But
the Wikipedia article on the birthday problem is actually quite good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was my mistake. I totally misspoke there on the number of birthdays there could be. That's just false. I take it back.
No
By
worries.
the way, Steve, your mic is hot. We can all hear your
I know.
keyboard.
I'm just going nuts.
Oh, okay.
We get used
Is
to it
it-
after a while.
Did you
Oh,
get me?
hold on, guys. I'm arguing with someone on the internet, and he's wrong.
What else?
Somebody's wrong on the internet.
Wait, that's the only reason to stay awake this late at night, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you mean this late? It's only 8 o'clock at night.
Or you have my job where you are the third shift and you stay up all night.
Hey, I'm just glad that you guys are on at a time when I can actually talk to you. I'm in Australia.
Yeah, that's true. We don't get. Yeah.
Australia doesn't exist. That's the thing. When
Yeah,
you're
it does.
talking
It's
about
just twice as wide as it should be.
when you're talking about how do we get internet to Australia? That's on the flat Earth model. Australia isn't real. It's all actors, and the planes actually just fly you to some random island where there's just a bunch of actors.
All trying to do fake Crocodile Dundee accents.
Like kangaroos.
Oh, you're talking about the Australia being fake?
Yeah, well, that's why everything there is poisonous, so that there can be, if somebody discovers it, they can just say, got bit by a spider. Just eliminate people. Actors are in.
Never mind all those species that don't exist anywhere else.
Yeah, but those were engineered to kill people that figure it out.
There's your conspiracy. There's your theory right there in the stream chat.
Oh, there's flat earthers in the stream chat right now?
Yeah, well, yeah.
That's Sean G.
You have you had Sean G in there. Yeah.
Wait, I didn't put it in the stream chat. Where did that end up?
I didn't put it on the feed.
No, but like I just posted a meme, and I wasn't clicked on stream chat, and I don't know where it ended up. I don't know where I posted it.
The stream chat is being recorded, but I figured there's no reason to record the live chat in the video any longer because it gets recorded,
By the way, Steve, I don't think what was wrong with your mic had anything to do with Skype.
Okay, well, I think you're wrong. Let me explain why. Because I've tested it numerous times and only has the problem when I'm running Skype with OBS and I'm the one streaming. That's the only time I have a problem with the mic.
That's weird.
Yeah, you know what it is Skype is super annoying now, and it microphone settings, and if you have some other sound thing running, it reduces it down by 50%.
Yeah, it has communication issues and it has bandwidth issues.
That is so weird because I swear to
dude, I have the same mic right now and I'm running OBS. Does it sound fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
it's it's not the fucking mic. I've already isolated the problem. It's an incompatibility issue between Skype and OBS. It's a known issue. I'm working around it, and I'll figure out more. But I had to isolate the issue first.
It was weird because it sounds so much like a bad ground on like an amp or something.
Yeah, but it's not. Like I said, I'm running the same setup right now. The only difference is I'm not running Skype.
God damn it, Skype! You had one job.
One job.
So far as I understand it, the reason it sounds like bad ground is what's happening is Skype is reducing the actual volume of the mic, and then OBS is trying to increase the gain to compensate the signal.
And what happens when it increases the gain, increases all the shit noise with it.
Right, yeah. I get that now. That makes sense.
The threshold was off on the settings, and so I'm trying to you know what a noise gate is? Well, I know.
Yeah, I do.
Does. Yeah, but the rest of you. But I'm trying to adjust it so the noise gate is higher, and I'll figure it out. But what's happening is that the noise gate is such that when I turn the mic on, it just tries to amplify shit noise, and that's why you get that buzz noise.
Oh, it doesn't try; it succeeds.
Yeah, I know the problem. I've read up on this. It's just. By the way, everybody say hi to Bunny. Bunny, what are you doing up this hour?
Hi, Bunny.
Bunny, it's like 3 o'clock in the fucking morning, girl. Get sleep. What the hell's wrong with you? Sleep, Sleep what normal people do.
No one here is normal, Steve.
Steve, pot, kettle, black.
Yeah, right. I've never claimed I'm normal.
Yeah, that's true.
Normal's boring.
So this screen is not the one you sent me. This is not the same screen you sent me, Steve.
What I send you?
I don't know, but it's not this one.
What are you talking about?
The one we have streaming right now.
I don't know. I picked one.
It doesn't matter. It's as long as the background says the Great Debate Community, and it doesn't say my channel when I'm streaming to your channel. Whatever.
No, this says Great Debate Community.
Okay.
I gotta change the topic though. I've been doing that, trying to keep up with the topic changes. But nobody really cares.
Right.
Open Hangout. Let's put Open Hangout for now. Oh, we got Luna here too. Holy crap! I think Luna and Bunny might be the same person because I've never seen them away from each other.
Oh, Steve, you're full of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, they're possible. Well, the only difference I know between Bunny and Luna is Luna's offered me her underwear before. That's the only difference that I know between them.
You
And
cut
no,
out there, Steve.
I didn't take it. If I did, I was going to send it to Red Eye. That's Red Eye's love interest. Do you guys know Luna?
What?
I don't.
She's pretty hot. She knows it.
I'm new here, so
She's
That's
well
cool.
aware of her attributes.
Because you made it known to her, right?
No, she was quite aware of it before we pointed it out to her. What is TomTom? Is TomTom having difficulties getting in here?
I just
I'm not
saw
sure
like
if we're having problems.
TomTom B, TomTom C, TomTom D, like all joining.
Are those sock accounts that people not him? Is he following now?
Is that why they call him multi-tom-tom?
I don't think so.
Multi-Tom-Tom and Tom-Tom are not the same person. Don't let him hear you say that.
I apologize. Sorry.
Ouch. Those are fighting words.
No. Oh my god, this is so true. Brace yourselves. Mr. Intelligent Design just joined the server.
He's been here for a while. Oh yeah, oh you saw that.
Like 4 hours.
That's in the introduction channel. The bot said brace yourselves.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
He's not in a stream though.
Yeah, no.
Right, he's not.
Yeah.
Wasn't he here earlier?
Yeah, he was.
I wanted to hear that. I missed it.
For a while.
Do you like people saying unintelligible gibberish?
Well, he's funny sometimes. Like when he's saying like when people, or he's like when you do an experiment and you are successful, people say you're very smart. So I do an experiment to measure intelligence by egg drop.
by egg drop. I love that by egg drop.
I honestly, that was the first video of the Great Debate Community that I watched, and I spent the entire time going, "What the actual fuck?"
And then you immediately left the Great Debate Community.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Oh god.
First time I've chatted with you guys.
I've never heard of him.
That was an excruciatingly painful time that we had together. That video.
I get that English is not his first language, but he doesn't seem to listen.
No, it's because
it doesn't matter. He speaks fluent English. He's just fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
You need to like read some books on intelligence. Like even the book on intelligence by Jeff Hawkins. That would be a place to start.
Science.
Like I don't understand. I don't understand what he even thinks he's measuring. Like he doesn't seem to even have a proper definition for what intelligence is.
No,
well, he doesn't like the 386 ones that other people seem to use, according to him.
Yo, fucking Max! I know exactly what happened to memes.
To what?
To memes. I know why no meme is dank anymore.
TomTom says he's at the rules section. TomTom, where are you? I'll drag you in if I can find you. Where's TomTom? Do you guys see TomTom on the server?
What's your username, TomTom?
Just nobody else. There's nobody
That's
in
the
there.
first problem.
There's nobody in any other room.
Yeah, maybe by rules, I think he means the rules chat room.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, go to like.
Tell him he needs to scroll down into.
Hang on, go into an actual room, and I can drag you in. You're just in the chat. Go into a room. Pick one. TomTom, and I'll drag you in. Go to like GDC Arena if you can't find anything, or stream waiting room, or rum and coke.
Or better yet,
just pick
stream.
One. Or better yet, the stream. He's in rules, but he's not actually in there. He's just looking at them. It's not a room though. I can't.
Yeah.
Is he Tom R? Who the heck is it?
No, that's not Tom, or is someone else.
Who's TomTom?
Yeah, which account is his?
Yeah, because there's like 9 TomToms here, dude.
Oh, Tom.
He's all of them.
All the way down the bottom, Tom.
Okay, I got him.
34B.
Get him his rolls. Get him his rolls. I got him.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Steve,
that was definitely an interesting, infuriating, but interesting conversation. I still, man, props to Landon.
Hell yes.
I don't see TomTom yet.
Incredibly smart person, but very respectful and patient considering.
TomTom, you've got roles. You got VIP and member. You can come in.
You should be able to. There should be a chat called Steam, and in parentheses live.
TomTom, look to the left. There's a whole bunch of fucking channels. Just pick one. I'll drag your ass in.
Any of them.
Look for one with a speaker next to it, not a hash mark.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Steve. And I'll do it later.
What's that?
I'll ask later.
One at a time.
Oh shit!
Not all.
Yeah. By the way, welcome back.
TomTom, unmute.
Did we get TomTom?
In other rooms, you just click your mute
bottom
button on
of
your app.
bottom left corner of Discord. Oh, if he's on his phone, then it's different.
Yeah. If you're on your
there he is.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello. Welcome.
TomTom, I owe you an apology.
Actually?
No, we can hear you just fine.
Oh, okay. Well.
Okay, I just made all the icons like in a row here. What did I just do? I want to go back to the. I want them vertical, not horizontal. How do I fix that?
Right click stream. Let's see. It's I forget.
I don't know how
there's if you right click stream live and click hide names, there's a checkbox. Uncheck that.
Oh, thank you. I don't know how that actually. Yeah, I don't know how that came checked. Thank you. Much better.
No problem.
See, I'm a noob too at Discord. I admit it.
Yeah. Can you actually hear me?
We have no idea.
Yes, we can hear you, TomTom.
No, I'm just kidding. We can hear you.
Okay, but I would I would like to how to say remove all possible sources of echoing. I don't know what should I remove or.
You're not echoing. You're fine.
Okay.
You might. Does he have the YouTube stream and this now running at the same time?
Yeah, if you've got your YouTube stream running, you need to mute that. That's about it.
If you pause it, you can still see the live chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I got that muted. Yeah. Hey, I finally made it to Discord. Yay.
Yay.
So, if I want to mute myself, I click this thing here, I guess.
Yeah, you click the right button to mute yourself.
Okay.
If you want to not hear us anymore, click the button next to it.
The one that looks like headphones.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go.
interesting. Okay. I, I'm learning. There's progress. Thanks all. Especially thanks to Nim. He directed me to actually uh, being able to join Discord. I um, I had Discord downloaded before. I just thought it very unintuitive, and then I forgot about it. And then whenever I tried to join Discord afterwards, I was like, "Well, we have your email address already. What's your password?" And there was no intuitive way to reset your password. So I was like, "Holy shit! Okay, you got all my email addresses that I usually use, and the passwords don't work, so I cannot join anymore." But yeah, thanks to Nim, he
Think you'll be
gave
able to
me
figure it out in the future now?
he gave me good. Yeah, I don't know. I think so. But thanks to Nim, he gave me good advice
Yay.
how to get here.
So happy. I've never
And
been
Nim
happier.
deserves a medal.
I'm so happy. Yeah. Yeah, Max, you posted that Tony Reed video. Yeah, that was a nice little shout out that Tony Reed gave me on his. He'd been saying for the last 2 months when he hit 80, he was definitely planning to shout out my channel and a couple others. And I was like, awesome. Um, so that was a nice little shout out from him. So I've been shouted out
Didn't
from
I post
Tony
that like
Reed.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah, Tony Reed, Living Dinosaur, King Crocoduck. Those were pretty big, good shout outs, man. Now we're rocking. Be 5K here soon. Not bad.
I was pretty excited to see that like the channels I am subscribed to and look up to are like all together. It's pretty cool.
Well, we're trying to build a community of channels, right? We're trying to help each other out. That's why there's a lot of overlap between like Holy Kool-Aid and Godless Cranium and a lot of the
Rachel
Rachel
Oates.
Oates. It's one big community, and I think that it's helped, right? I mean, I really do. I think that they've got a lot of subs out of it. So
Heck, even I
Well,
got over 100 subs.
yeah,
I
well,
gotta say
yeah,
it's
I
helped me.
I would definitely say it's helped because honestly, if it wasn't for you, Steve, I probably still wouldn't know about Rachel or Scientist Mel or a few others.
Yeah.
genetically modified skeptic I had on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, well, I mean, this was the whole goal from the Great Debate community to begin with, and then people shat all over it. I'm like, okay, well then you can go your way, I go my way, and let me do my thing. And I mean, I agree. I think the Great Debate community has been a stepping stone for a lot of channels. The Geek Room, they're up to 1,700. Matter of fact, I definitely know that the non sequitur show, a third of their audience starting out were Great Debate community, right? And then it just took off from there. But that's the whole goal. We're supposed to be the stepping stone for great channels, right? Because it's hard for new channels to get started, right? They have to have an audience to begin with, and we have a lot of people in the Great Debate community, and that's a pretty good audience to start with, don't you think?
Yeah. And what got me about that whole thing is I read it. I'm not gonna lie. I read it, and there was things in there that I was like, okay, they kind of I can kind of see both sides of it, and then there was things in there I was like, that's just douche behavior. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
There's
All I wanted to do was go my own way. I wanted to put people to the side and say, look, if you don't want to be a part of this, you don't have to be. I only ask you either support
right.
me or stay the fuck out of my way. That's all I'm asking. You don't have to support me. You don't have to agree with me. I don't care. Just don't get in my way as I'm trying to do something. That's all. They seem to get butthurt for that. Oh well, fair enough. Whatever.
Well, those are the people that need to get out of the way.
Yeah, I never tell them you can't do this, you can't do that. Do what the fuck you want. Somebody just asked me the other day, hey, I want to start a Great Debate community gaming. I'm like, you don't need my permission. Go ahead. I mean, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board with that. Cool. You know.
I play video games all the time. I can do that.
Isn't that person actually still a part of it too? Like,
Yeah,
because
yeah. But most of the members there are not GDC. But that's fine. I don't. They can do what the hell they want. I don't. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. All I wanted to
yeah. I
do
mean,
was build my channel and build the non sequitur show and help other channels. That's it.
no one said you can't be part of more than one community on Google Plus.
Exactly.
I'm in a lot. I'm in quite a few communities. Yeah.
So am I.
But
I'm
I
even in
don't.
some of the communities with those people, those others.
I don't want to build a channel on all I'm doing is making fun of G-Man and Ronnie 24 hours a day, 8 hangouts a day. That's not what I wanted. And I had that. Well, I didn't have that many, but I saw it kind of going in that direction. And I was like, I'm not interested in this. You guys can have, other people can have this. People want to bash on them, be my guest. I'll listen in on sometimes. But it's just not the direction I wanted to go. And
Yeah, I was going to say, to be honest, continually harping to target on Ronnie and G-Man, just it gets old because they're broken records.
Yeah.
They have like a 3-day cycle of material.
I mean, it's fun to listen to every so often. I'll listen to Talking Shit Tuesday. I love JD Kane. I mean, JD Kane's awesome. He and I have a great understanding with each other, and he gets it, and he wants subs and he wants views, and I'm not saying he'll do anything to get them, but he's a little bit more loose in his ethical things, I guess. I don't know how else to put it. He'll do a lot more to get views than I will, but I respect him for it, and I have no problem with that. But when they start bashing on G-Man and Ronnie, I'll listen. I find it entertaining, just like anybody else. It's just I don't really want to bother with it, on my channel, and certainly not the non sequitur show. That's for much more interesting conversations, I think.
Well, last night, they were talking. It was Dragnaut MP and Psycho Atheist, Psychotheist. I don't know how to say
Psychopath
it.
atheist.
Psychopathist or whatever.
Psychopath
Yeah.
atheist. Yeah.
They were all talking to G-Man, and the subject matter, for a while there, it was actually going pretty good. They were talking about whether Darwin was the cause of racism.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't think of a better group of people to actually talk about that.
And perfectly fine. Right. And they had like 66 people watching. We had 130.
Right.
And I'm
then,
fine with
then
that.
G-Man started getting a little G-manish, and I was like, okay, I can see where this is going. And then you started broadcasting.
Dave,
wait,
isn't it sad we actually know what you mean by that when you say G-manish? We just all know. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Like somebody says,
we know what that means.
Yeah, somebody says bullying a girl Davenish. I would be like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So G-Man starts doing his thing, and I was like, I know where this is going. And I'm like, you started broadcasting like about the same time, and I was like, okay, I know where I'm going. And I went to go watch something more cerebral, which was
that's
what
cool.
I did.
Look, it gives people alternate things to watch, right? And if somebody wants to go fucking watch for the millionth time G-Man make an ass of himself, hey, go ahead. I'd rather watch it later, but whatever. But if they want to watch more interesting stuff, then I want to provide that. But like G-Man, he had a hangout right after. He had like 20 people watching. Nobody gives a fuck what G-Man says. Okay, they just don't.
Yeah.
And do you think that do you think he's actually going to get a debate with Matt?
Oh fuck no! That was funniest thing I ever heard when Dragnaut said he was trying to petition.
It was hilarious.
To get Matt
100,000
Dillon.
votes. 100,006. Come on. Now,
so what?
I will tell you this. It has.
That was my thing. It's like, what is Matt's not obligated for signatures to debate anybody.
It has been noted to G-Man that if he gives up on his B-17, certain people will try to help make arrangements for that. I'm not one of those people. I said that he has to not only give up talking about B-17, he actually has to admit that it's wrong, that it is not a cure for cancer, and people need to go seek proper medical attention. Until then, I want nothing to do with G-Man.
Right. Well, and he needs to apologize to scientist Mel.
And Mel, yeah, that too. That was the other condition. True.
Shouldn't we just be referring to him as
Oh.
death peddler, though, really?
What's that?
So shouldn't we really just be referring to him as death peddler at this?
Yeah, I'm going to continue to refer to him as Death Peddler until he, changes his stance. And I'm certainly not going to help him get a thing with Matt Dillahunty. Hell no.
Last time I saw him and Matt together, Matt basically told him to fuck off until he could talk logically about slavery in the Bible.
Well, and that's the thing, is the whole B-17 thing, it really is a death peddling because it's promoting attempted alternate treatments that aren't treatments that do more harm than good and will actually negatively affect survival rates.
Yep, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
I mean, it's the sad thing about that, and it's not like this is the first person who's peddled some kind of bogus cancer cure. But I mean, the sad thing about that is, if somebody has cancer, not just the person with the cancer, but even their family. People get desperate to want to save someone's life, and they're willing to accept bullshit ideas, right? And so you're taking advantage of that vulnerability, and that's just not cool.
Yep, and my brother lived 10 years longer because of chemo. And for for him to go out and say, "Oh, chemo kills more people than cancer," you need to rightly fuck off at that point, because I just think it's just pure death penalty.
Well, there was this guy a while back, Doctor. I don't know if he was actually a doctor, Simonici or something, and he was trying to say that cancer is all caused by fungus, and it wasn't cellular mutation, and that you could treat it with, say, like some sort of a sodium solution.
Baking soda.
Baking. You remember? You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely. That's Grimm's favorite thing. Remember Grimm V? He would promote that cancer was caused by too much alkali, or too much acidity in the body, and you had to reduce it with an alkali, which is a baking soda type thing.
The problem is to an average person that has no background in science, and they're already like panicked and fucking fearful for their life, for the life of someone. That shit could seem to make a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big word that's not said often,
Yeah, that was Dr. Trulio.
Was it like Simonici?
Simonici.
I mean, let's be honest.
Simonici?
You get a room.
Simonici?
Get a room full of people and tell me how many you think know what alkaline is.
Oh, I think most of them know what alkaline is.
But I mean, and he's sitting here. Oh, but look, all the cancer, always white. It's always white. Like, if it was a mutation, it would just be all sorts of different colors. It would mutate differently every time. It could be pink, purple.
Well, Tommy Hall is, tumors are good for you.
No, that's bullshit too. That's got to end too. Like with as far as him getting even talking, I don't talk to him anyway. I'm on his blog list, which is kind of funny because I hardly ever talk to him in the first place. Talked to him like once on one of Fiona's posts.
Now, here's the other, I don't know for sure, but the guy who's like an Italian doctor or whatnot, the guy with the fungus thing, do you think that he actually bought that? Did he believe what he was peddling?
Yeah, man.
I don't.
Not only did he buy it, look at there. You guys don't remember Grim V, but I have a video on my channel, Dave. You have to find it, but it's called Steve McRae v. or versus Grim V. Cancer.
I remember Grim V.
Yeah, and that led to another discussion on my channel where he actually was talking to Hog Die Champ and Fiona and a few other people trying to explain, and this is paraphrased, but it's pretty close. He was saying that cancer is due to a virus that was called pleomorphism, which is a real thing. Pleomorphism does exist, but not the way he uses it. But under pleomorphism, a virus turns to a bacteria, the bacteria turns to a fungus, the fungus turns to a mold, and the mold turns into cancer. It's bizarre. Fucking bizarre shit.
What?
Yeah,
Like, what?
it's a level of what the fuck. That's even Hogtie was just like, what?
That sounds like something that you would run into in Harry Potter. What the fuck? This
Yeah.
transmorphing entity that's infecting your body.
Yeah,
It sounds like space orcs. What the fuck? It sounds like space orcs.
Grim
I'm not joking.
Grim likes to throw out these obscure words and hoping that nobody fucking calls him on his bullshit, right? Because he doesn't understand any of this shit. Let's be realistic. He believes in electric universe, and he believes, anti-vaccine, and
The only thing he doesn't believe is flat Earth.
Yet.
Do you think
Sometimes I wonder, just give it enough time and he'll hop on that train too.
It wouldn't surprise me, and I wouldn't.
No.
Fuck, dude.
A favorite word of conspiracy theories, conspiracy theorists, and all this stuff that think they know how the universe really works is frequency. It's like a freaking
density.
Oh God.
Density.
Frequency and vibration.
Buoyancy.
Yeah.
Did you guys see me trying to explain fucking to Debbie about buoyancy? And even King Crocoduck
that was painful.
Yeah, King Crocoduck was messaging me during that time, and he's just like, "What the fuck is she even saying?" kind of thing. And I was like, "Well,
that was painful."
Because she didn't
I
get
forget. I forget who said it first, but the best description for Debbie really is weaponized stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel bad for some of the people who end up okay. Do you remember there was a guy, and he's from near where I'm from, that did this thing, said cured cancer using high grade THC oil, right? And then it would cure cancer. He had a site called Phoenix Tears, and he was miracle cure. Now he had basal cell melanoma, and he used weed oil as topical ointment, and it went away. He apparently had done this with other people, and had it go away. And he never charged anybody anymore. I met the guy; he was a really nice guy. Gave me a big old chunk of free weed oil. He's like, "Here, take this." But he would prepare this stuff and just give it. He wasn't trying to make money or profit. And his big thing was, "Hey, I don't know how this works. All I know is I've done a bunch, and it worked for me, and it seems to work with other people. We should research why this is a thing." He just wanted people to be able to test it, but legality surrounding marijuana at the time just didn't allow for it. But I don't think he was a bad guy.
No, I don't think so either. But and there might be some studies out there for THC affects cancer and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen stuff like that. But here's the thing: I've always wondered, why is it always potheads that are promoting it?
Well,
this guy wasn't though. This guy wasn't.
He didn't
Not
smoke
originally.
pot.
He did, but only later. He used it for pain management later. But he was sort of one of these more hardline kind of ex-military weed is bad kind of people, and he heard this radio thing back in the day that said something about study on THC being good for whatever, and so he decided to try it because he had cancer and he was desperate, and his cancer went away, and he was like, "Oh shit, there's something to this," and that's where it came from, right? But after that, he started smoking it. But beforehand, I don't think so. I think that he was pretty.
Yeah, I only see people that love to smoke pot ever bring up the THC for cancer thing. Anytime I've ever heard anybody use an argument for THC, it's always somebody that smokes pot. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Just something I've noticed. By the way, Sean G
I
pointed
mean, definitely things that it is good for. I know that it can seizure disorders and whatnot.
Oh, sure, I agree with that.
But the CBP weed, where they've taken out the THC.
Well, what it is the cannabis oil is the extract that is actually the epilepsy treatment. The THC helps counteract the nausea from chemo treatments and other treatments, and also helps with appetite.
Yeah.
So it does medically have its purposes.
Yeah.
It's just not as much as a lot of people claim it to be.
But it's controlling the
it's
symptoms.
definitely not a cure at all.
It's controlling the side effects from the therapy.
Right.
No, there are some studies.
Exactly.
Hang on. There are some studies that THC. Hang on. There are some studies that THC does affect tumors. It does shrink tumors and might even eliminate them in some cases. But they're still preliminary. They're still in research. Nothing can really.
Yeah.
But anyways,
That's new to me, and
yeah, they're out there. Sean G had even admitted that all the flat earthers were even laughing at Debbie. So that's how bad she was. When flat earthers are laughing at you, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Where do you go from
Debbie's
there?
just controlled opposition. And
Yeah, I'm hoping she really is pretty because, God, I mean, she needs to make up for her vast lack of intellect somehow. Oh, God.
Her voice
I think
certainly ain't
it's
pretty.
I think it's interesting that whenever a flat Earth advocate fails miserably in defense of the flat Earth, all the flat Earthers jump up and say that they're controlled opposition.
Yeah, she's a shill now. Yeah, she's a
What,
stooge.
I saw a lot of posts saying
A stooge to
saying
make
that she
flat
must be a
Earth-
Poe.
Yeah, she's a Poe to make flat earthers look bad.
I don't think so. I think she honestly believes what she's saying.
No, I believe she does too. I'm just saying that that's their narrative. Right? Oh, she's just a shell to make flat earthers look bad. I'm like, oh, flat earthers don't need Debbie to make themselves look bad. Trust me. Now, here's the question of the day, though. Let's assume that is Debbie. She says that is her picture. I haven't seen her camera, but let's assume she's that hot. Would that be enough to go? Okay, well, you know what? I'll still date her.
not with that level of stupid.
No, hell no.
I am so
See,
much
that
more
was-
shallow than you guys. Then I'd be all up on that. I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Well, as long as
So
you
much
didn't broach her motor mouth, as long as you didn't get her going.
Oh yeah, the whole thing would be like, shh, don't talk, just shh, shh, not a word.
Here, let me get my roll of duct tape, and we'll solve the problem.
Sean says she's cute, not enough to bypass dumb. From anybody else, that would have been funny. I don't know why, but from Sean. Oh God, Sean, I like Sean. I can't help but like him.
Thing I did want to say there.
You like Sean?
I like
He's being,
Sean G. Yeah, I do. I gotta admit, I got
my
a soft
favorite
spot
part
for him.
about Sean is like, you don't know what I believe, but literally like 4 minutes earlier, he was like, "I know the Earth is flat."
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. I think it's hilarious. I'm not
We
sure
do
about the
like
shape of the Earth,
Sean G.
but I know it's flat. So you don't think there's some level of hotness where you can overlook that level of up and grade stupidity? No.
Yeah,
She is not
Hell no.
I agree with E-Monk. Hell no.
Well, let me put it this way. She can hold the beliefs she has, but if she were able to converse about it the way that Uber was able to, then she's on that line where it could go either way for me
Uber was
personally.
cool. I like Uber. Oh, it reminds me. Uber. Remember Uber saying he was having an email with somebody? Right? He was talking about that. The guy that he was actually emailing me just messaged me yesterday, and he wants to come on to tell his side of the story. And I'm like, oh fuck yeah! And like, how cool is that?
So I have a question. Isn't it true that the Earth or any object actually is either flat or it is curved? It is a true dichotomy, right?
It's
Either
triangle.
something is
A
no,
true
but
dichotomy would be flat or not flat.
It's a dodecahedron.
yeah, but if something is not flat, then it would have to be curved.
No, it could be angled.
Oh, guess who's in the outside
Well,
chat
flat
now?
and angle are two different things.
Jared, guess who's in the
No,
outside
I think
chat
no,
now?
he's right. He's right. If something, okay.
First chemo is in the outside chat.
Okay.
Should I change my name back to what it was before?
So a plane, by definition, a flat plane, right? If you're just dealing with geometry, is two-dimensional. Okay, you don't have any rises, so the flat earthers don't believe that. But if you're looking at a plane, if that plane breaches that plane, it actually goes to the z-axis, then there's a curve involved every time.
Right, every time. That's how that works.
Yeah,
The fact that you can look around you and there is a horizon And if you happen to be in the ocean and it performs a circle around you, that's evidence
even if
that
there's
you're standing on a sphere.
And the way I'm looking at that is even if there's an apex, even if there's like a triangle type thing, to me a triangle or an apex is a very sharp curve.
Right.
That's how I look at it. Now I could be completely wrong on that, but to me, anytime you breach that plane, you have some type of curve.
Well, yeah, it's a 90-degree angle
triangle. A triangle is defined by 3 points in space.
Yes.
And that is by definition flat.
Yes.
Yeah, triangle exists on a plane.
Triangular prism
You can't make a you can't define a curved shape with just 3 points.
No, but you can with 4.
Yeah, with 4 you could. I mean,
I think what Tom's saying is that a triangle exists on a plane. It's not a three-dimensional object.
Yeah, you would need to say it's a triangular prism or like a pyramid or something. It could be made of triangular faces, but it couldn't just be a triangle. Otherwise, then it's just a 3-edged flat thing.
And then we also have to take into account that 3 points could actually exist on a single line, so they wouldn't actually have to necessarily define a plane at all. they could just 3 points could just define a line.
You could have hang on, you hang on real quick. You can still, if you still have a plane, and it's a circular plane, you have a curve, right? Even if it's a circle is curved, right? So you don't have to have 3 dimensions to have curve. A 2-dimensional circle clearly has a curve.
3 dimensionals.
Yeah, if you're talking about the outer edge.
Yeah.
But that's not the same as the kind of curve you're talking about when you're talking about a sphere.
Why is it any different? A sphere is just an infinite amount of circles. They're both circles.
Well, I mean, geometrically, because it's the degree of the extrusion, right? Like you either have a point or a segment or a plane, or you have that extra dimension where you're moving from like a point to a 2-dimensional segment or like a flat. And as soon as you go into a third dimension, you have to bend that point, or you need to add further faces.
All right, I know you clearly work in Blender, right?
Yeah, and Max and other 3D programs.
Yeah, I picked that up. Okay, so let's use your vernacular. So if you extrude it and you go into the third dimension, yeah, the way I'm looking at it is this way. A 3-dimensional object is an infinite amount of 2-dimensional objects. That's it. And so a 2-dimensional circle that is inside a plane where you're only on the X and Y axis, not encroaching upon the Z axis, the perimeter is going to be a curve. That's why I'm looking at it.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have a curve, but that wouldn't necessarily create so you could have a circle that's flat and it has an outer curve, like their weird little ice ring thing that they go on, right? But that wouldn't account for surface curvature.
Right.
You'd have to like bend it into like some kind of taco shape in order to start getting like.
I think any shape in 3 dimensions, and I'm talking about non-Euclidean, has a curve to it. Right? Because I don't believe there is such a thing as a triangle. I don't believe triangles exist. I've actually have been moved by a position to Haukai's Champ's position. So I think that all space-time, since it's curved, you're never going to have a true triangle for multiple different reasons. One, obviously the curvature.
And that was kind of mathematics.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you just can't have a perfect triangle. So.
No, and you can't have it be infinitely flat, right? I mean, pretty much any triangle is just a really, really, really thin triangular prism, right?
Yeah,
unless you're looking mathematics.
Well, they're just representations of what a triangle would be. They're close approximations.
Yeah.
Wait, why can't you have a perfect triangle on?
Because
What
God
is
says
what
it's
page
not
10
possible.
actually saying? God.
You want to argue with God?
What
Seriously?
you can't have a
Yeah,
180-degree triangle on a sphere.
I will actually challenge God.
Yeah, no. The argument goes that that geometric shapes only exist in a Platonic way if you believe in but what is it Platonic realism. But in the real world, triangles are only an approximation of what the archetype actual triangle would be, because as you zoom in on it, you get more and more deviation from what you would get from a perfect triangle.
I would actually argue otherwise. If you zoom out of it, you get unperfect triangles, but at a very small scale, you get perfect
No,
triangles.
think about it, Tom. Tom, look
All
at
the time.
if you have a triangle on a screen, and the more you zoom in, the more pixelated it gets you, right? The same principle
As-
holds in reality. The more
Are
you zoom
you
in on a triangle,
are you
the more lack of it actually being a triangle.
are you invoking like the quantization of things? Like eventually you will zoom in so much that with quantum mechanics that there is no triangle that you can form at that scale
Yeah, let's go with
because
that.
it seems to me like you have more problems if you zoom out than if you zoom in.
Yeah, no,
For me,
I just think that no triangles
perfect.
exist. But I'm also a color realist. Um, what is somebody asked me an actually interesting question. Sean asked me, "What do you think of Morgellons?" I actually have a friend whose mom suffers from that. Believe it or not, she has Morgellons, and they don't know the cause, and she has open wounds that they have to bandage all the time and keep from bleeding. And she literally suffers her entire life in pain because her body just has these lesions on them,
Good
and
morning.
yeah, they don't know what causes it. But yeah, I know somebody who actually suffers from that, Sean. Well, I know somebody whose mom suffers from that. So yeah, it's a real disease. Well, it's that's the problem. Some people don't think it's a real disease. Whatever she has something, right, that they're calling Morgellons. But what that is, they don't know what the hell it is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
So
sense.
she has some kind of disease, and they just happen to label it that, but they don't know the.
You're cutting in and out a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, they don't know the
So you know.
pathology on it. They don't know what causes it. I think it's some kind of fibrous tumor or fibrous, like, what is it called? I can't remember the name. But I don't know. It could be Lyme disease. I don't know. But like I said, I do know somebody who actually was diagnosed with that. So take it for what it's worth. Why would you ask me that question? I'm just kind of curious. It's a kind of an odd question to ask somebody.
I don't know. You went into this disease thingy. I was asking about triangles.
Yeah, well, I multitask. The geek room's here. Yay! Now we can have fun.
But I will say, Steve, when I was talking about points and whatnot, you're absolutely right. I was totally reverting to 3D modeling language rather than.
Yeah, I picked that up. I'm not as
Yeah.
I'm not as unfamiliar with Blender. I just I like Blender, but it's really got a pretty large learning curve.
Oh, all of the 3D modeling packages have a large, pretty much. Doesn't matter which one you pick. You can go
Yeah,
ZBrush, you can go Maya, and they all do it. And Blender's got one of the most non-standard interfaces that you can
it's
imagine.
bizarre.
Yeah, it it's
I wish I knew it better
it's
because it seems like it's got a lot of potential, but
it does. I mean, the fact that it's open source and that if you're a coder, you can do whatever you want with it. So you know, there's that, which is something. But it's definitely a non-standard interface. Like it doesn't. You don't move from the mainstream packages and jump into Blender and go, this makes sense.
yeah, and I find the compositing to be difficult to work with.
Yeah, they have a weird compositing engine. Usually, if I do anything like take the footage and composite it in like After Effects or different.
Yeah, well, I don't have an Apple, so I'd like to get After Effects, but
You don't need an Apple for After Effects. After
if that was
Effects is
Apple, if
Adobe.
that was Apple, well, I don't have the money for After Effects. Plus, I don't have the skill set. I don't think I could learn a new program.
You can. Adobe now has. It's not super expensive. There's a monthly amount you can pay, and it gives you access to like a creative suite, and you just
Patreon.
pay so much a month, you get all the software.
Yeah, I don't have the wherewithal to learn all that again. I mean, I tried learning Blender for a while. I messed around with it, did some stuff with it, but I would have.
Blender is just so there's so many rabbit holes you can go down with Blender.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It
I'm
looks like it's
still
very
learning
powerful.
Blender. I'm not super proficient with it, but I can do a bit of
The
stuff.
problem with Blender.
I use it for video editing.
But you know what
That's about it.
you know what the biggest problem with Blender is? The shitty fucking documentation. That's non-existent.
It's really keystroke dependent. Like you can't use Blender proficiently unless you learn a shit ton of keystrokes.
A lot of shortcuts.
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't figure out how to use Blender when I tried.
Yep, I agree with that.
Yeah. Although what I will say is looking at people who know all those keystrokes, they're very like well thought out if you know them all. Like you can move and like manipulate things really effectively and quickly, it seems like. But yeah, like to build the muscle memory to be able to do that is definitely takes some time. But yeah, I agree with you on your point that you don't see a triangle in nature. You can see it in math. You can sort of, but not a true triangle.
After Effects, by the way, Steve, was a lot easier to use than Blender, just probably by nature, because 3D stuff is probably more complicated than that 2D editing.
Yes, that's true. 3D editing is you have a light source.
To it too. You can lay things out in 3D space, but it's a lot. You're not going to be modeling geometry, so it's a lot simpler. But it is a 2D package because you can layer your elements along the z-axis and light things and do camera rotations and whatnot, or you can 3D map and track footage in order to like composite 3D objects in the scene. So it does handle basic 3D function, but it's not really a modeling package. Anyway, that's totally a digression from talking about.
No, we actually I have some Blender videos, and I did a tutorial on Blender too, a basic intro one, and we were getting into it for a while, but then I just didn't like the documentation, and I just couldn't. I didn't want to just do like, oh, hey, we find this tutorial and follow along with it and make something. I wanted to be creative, and I don't know how to do that with Blender.
Yeah, you need to kind of like go through and learn all these basic principles and functions before you can be creative. Like if you want to just jump into something and be creative, look at something like ZBrush where it's kind of more sculpty. Like you can definitely move from taking an object and starting to like create a 3D thing with it way quicker in something like ZBrush or Mudbox.
Look at ZBrush. I can't even figure out GIMP.
You can't figure out GIMP?
Yeah, I have a problem with layering.
It's like Photoshop 0.1.
Yeah, well, one of these days I'll sit down with you and you can explain it to me, because I just for some reason can't really.
Oh, I don't know how to work GIMP either. I was just laughing at you.
Yeah, I just
Fuck
use
off.
Photoshop. Yeah, no, I use Photoshop or like Artisty Draft or anything but GIMP, really. I can't stand GIMP. Some people love it. I don't know. I don't like the interface.
Yeah,
I would rather use Paint or something for like drawing a background for, I don't know, like broadcasting OBS or something.
I would love to take a course in that stuff. I mean, I took a course in like Access, and I took Word, and I took all the normal Microsoft bullshit, right? But I wish I would have taken a course in Photoshop and or Blender.
Yeah, I took a brief stint in college through applied communication arts and graphic design before I decided that that's not a career that really has any money in it, at least not at the time when I was taking it. But
Oh, it's only for my own personal
yeah,
amusement, right?
it's come in very handy for like my own personal use, but it wasn't a career path.
Yeah. No, like I said, I really do like Blender, and I got into it, but I didn't like having to go to the web every time I wanted to find what a keystroke was, or it doesn't explain the differences between very well. Like, what is curve to mesh, as opposed to like mesh to texture, curve, blends, being. It doesn't give you detail about things, and I don't like that. I want to know what things do.
You kind of need to like look at, okay, what functionally want to create and figure out what are the methods of creating it. So it rather than saying I'm just going to be creative, you have to sort of start your creativity almost at the storyboarding level or at the concept level, and say, like, here's my creative idea, and then figure out what are the elements, what are the things that I need to do. Do I need to like rig something and add bones? Do I, if I want it to look a certain way, what's the best way to texture it and all that? So you kind of like have to work backwards,
Well, like
and then you can
how do you
apply the
take
skills
how do you
you
take like
gain.
a 2D picture? Like I want to take a 2D picture, and I want
Yeah,
to animate something on that picture.
that's still 2D or like
Yeah,
the
it's still
3D on
2D.
top of it.
Yeah, no, like still
Steve,
do
if
like
you look in the
like for example, imagine you had like a light bulb and you want to like turn that light bulb on with a picture.
Oh, don't use Blender. I mean, if you're
yeah,
just doing a 2D animation, use a 2D animation software or something that's
Blender
more
has
like
2D animation.
it does.
Steve,
I wouldn't use. I think you'd be better off using something like 2D animation,
Well,
even Photoshop's tools for that matter.
I mean, what I wanted to do is like on the NS logo, it has like these electrodes, and I wanted lightning to jump on the electrodes, and I kind of know can figure out how to make the electrode, but I can't put it on the picture. I can make an arc, but I wanted to put the arc on top of the photo, so it looked like there's a like not a Jacob's ladder, but just some kind of lightning between 2 points on the bulb, but I couldn't figure out how to do it.
So, I mean, one way to do that would be to break the object down into its individual components and then keyframe them and then render, like, if you like, say, build them along, so you're looking top down, so you're building all those flat components using like grease pencil or whatever, looking straight down on them. Then you just export those from that top down camera view so that it appears flat. But
Yeah,
they're
that's
just
that's kind of
separate.
like what I was going for. Now everybody says I use After Effects. Yes, I know you can use After Effects for that. I get that. It'd
It's
be
certainly
much easier
not
in
the
After
easiest way
Effects,
to
but
go about it,
I
but
wanted to see if it could be done in Blender. I wanted to see how to do it.
it could be. I've never personally used Blender for 2D animation on that. I know that it can be used, but it wouldn't be my
It doesn't
preferred
even have to be 2D
approach.
animation. It could just be 3D animation, and you're just looking from a orthogonal perspective with respect to the picture. I mean, you're
Yeah, I
looking
mean,
just
yeah, you could.
directly down onto it, right? And
Yeah, I
so,
mean, you could build it with 3D objects and then just render it out in orthographic, I suppose.
yeah, yeah, I use orthographic mode. Yeah, I don't know. But one of these days we'll have like a little session with Blender with people again. So,
Yeah, yeah. Awesome.
anyways, I am going to probably call this a night because I am tired. I mean, I can leave this open. You guys want to shoot the shit? I don't give a fuck. But
Oh man, I'm pretty beat too. This was an all nighter.
well, how about we call it a night for tonight, boys and girls? And we thank the live chat for joining us. We had Sean G and Luna Patrice Saxton, and we had let's see, Mr. Scott and Rabbit Hunter. I feel like Mr. Rogers at the end of the night. Like what is that? A romper room. You look in the magic mirror. Oh, totally before your guys' time, right? Do you guys remember romper room? Oh fuck!
no.
You make me look old. Really? The magic mirror, they're looking in the mirror and they're like, and I see Jenny and I see Steve. No? Wow, you
I'm
guys
old too,
suck.
Steve. I remember it.
Alright, thank you. Somebody remembers romper room. But
Hey,
anyways, yeah.
Steve,
Yeah, I just
can
turned
I
46.
can
Of
I
course I
make
remember it.
I was on it actually.
Oh, well, there you go. You were on romper room?
Yeah.
Wow. Small world.
They moved from studio to studio. Like it was filmed locally on your.
I tried out
And
for Joker's Wild when I was a kid. I remember the question they asked me and I missed it. It was
I don't
who was Porky
remember
Pig's
that
girlfriend?
show.
I missed
Uh,
that question. Who anybody
Steve,
know? Who was Porky Pig's girlfriend? Because that's the question I fucked up, or else I would have been on um, Joker's Wild. Because I was a smart kid, but I didn't know. I didn't watch cartoons. I was like, ask me a fucking science question. I would have owned it. Nobody
Oh
remembers.
man, I hate that when you're doing trivia or something, some stupid pop culture thing comes
Literally
up,
got
and
it
you're
right.
like, ah,
Petunia. Yeah, I've
yeah.
never. But to this day, look at.
Porky Pig's girlfriend was
I
like
didn't even know he had one.
To this day, Luna, I have
Tuna
never
or
forgotten Miss
something.
Petunia because of that fucking question.
Petunia, yeah, yeah. I love the old Bugs Bunny and whatnot. Like
Somebody made a somebody just made a
Mel Blanc
wait,
is
hang
such
on,
an amazing
hang on,
voice of ours.
somebody just made a troll account. Jokers Wild 00. That's awesome. And she said, and they say Petunia Pig. How do you make a
That was fast.
how do you, yeah, I was gonna say, how the fuck did they make a sock so goddamn quick? That's impressive.
That is.
That's really impressive. I mean, dude, that was like within like 25 seconds or something. Weird. Okay,
What
Tom,
happened?
you were trying to say something before we go off air?
Yeah, if I may, I wanted to plug in, if I'm allowed to, a dude who is actually very interesting in my opinion. He's a Christian. He is philosophically very sound, like flying way over my head, and he can even stand his ground on quantum mechanics and physics and stuff like that. And uh, in my opinion, the most important quality that he has, he's polite. So he's not
And
talking
what's the
shit
catch?
about you.
He's a flat earther, young Earth creationist. What?
No, he's just a Christian, and I think
Okay.
he needs more views and he needs more love. And I think,
All right.
well, I should just put it in the message, I guess.
Are you talking about MJ?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him as Slash, by the way.
What is it? MJ
Yeah.
D'Amore.
No, like I said, I know him as Slash from years ago. I've known him for several years. Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah,
Really nice guy.
you know him. Yeah, he claims, although I don't remember him, he claims to have been a, uh, I guess a veteran or whatever of Nadia's
Yeah.
back
Oh
in
yeah.
the.
Oh yeah. He's a veteran of Nadia's, Chad. He really is. I've known him
And
for a
well,
while.
I don't remember him, but if you know
Because he had
him,
a different
well,
name.
he act okay, but he started Hangouts like yesterday, basically, and he's having trouble. Obviously, he got sniped today and stuff like that.
God.
He's figuring things out.
Yeah, we'll help him. We'll
Like,
see what we can do. We'll help him out. I like him. He's a smart kid.
but I think he needs more love. He needs more
All right.
subscribers
We can do that.
and
All
stuff
right.
like that.
Just FYI.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he has like 11 subscribers.
Yeah, we're gonna help him out. The guy's name, Joker's Wild, was just a coincidence. How what the hell odds of that? That I happened
It
to.
was a coincidence.
Yeah, no, I talked about my kid. You know, as a kid, I tried out for the Joker's Wild. There happened to be somebody watching with the fucking name Joker's Wild. He didn't create that account. That's actually his account. He's like, it's just a
Oh man,
coincidence. Wow. He's like, I'm not
I was gonna
trolling.
say that was lightning fast. Like I
Yeah,
was
that
like, you
was.
ever had a
He's like,
building bot or something?
yeah, it's like just it's a coincidence. I'm like, that's pretty big coincidence, don't you think? All right,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Thanks for
I
watching tonight.
I
Hang on.
I put a link into the Discord chat.
Okay.
So
Um, just
from
FYI,
his
like I
channel,
said,
he has only 18 subscribers, so he needs more love.
all right. Thank you, Tom. We'll everybody go subscribe to him. He's actually a pretty cool guy. I'm actually really like him.
Yeah.
He's actually a really honest theist. Um, but anyways, tonight, the people that had watched the discussion with Dustin, and Skylar, yeah, it was a love fest. Wasn't expecting that. I actually liked the guy, and so I think it went really well. We are going to have many more discussions like that. Skylar's down. Skylar's back. And tonight we have King Crocoduck and Red Pill Religion.
Oh, that should be interesting.
That'll be a fun view.
Oh God, dude,
Wait,
I'm not looking forward to it.
back. Skylar's back. Was he ever gone? Oh wait, in January he just
He rickrolled
dismissed his
us.
He
own
rickrolled you.
channel.
So if
But
you want,
hey, I downloaded all his stuff. He's not gonna fool me with his
yeah,
shenanigans anymore.
now, so anyways, tonight at what time? What time is the thing tonight, guys? Do you remember? I gotta get some sleep because I need to be up for that. Let's see.
Yeah. Go to bed, Steve. End the stream. Go to bed.
Hang on. I gotta find
Good night, everybody.
It's some.
Good morning, everybody.
It's sometime fucking tonight. You'll find out on the
fuck-
non sequitur Twitter. Good night,
fucking
guys.
noon
Good night,
where I
Luna.
live.
Everybody say good night, Luna.
Morning, Steve.
Fuck you.
Morning,
Good night,
Steve.
Luna.